But yeah, like he talks about them very neutrally, which was very interesting because it gives you a. Because he talks about who's the one that did the Trail of Tears?
Johnson. Andrew Johnson.
Andrew
Jackson.
Jackson.
Johnson.
Andrew
Johnson.
Jackson. And he was talking about Andrew Jackson, and he was talking about all the stuff that he did in a very impartial way. And he was talking about the Trail of Tears, and he stopped like halfway through. He's like, what he did was fucked up. And this is not condoning. I'm just talking about it academically, basically, is what he said. And that's exactly what the podcast was. It was basically like an academic level, long part sort of discussion about the American presidents, and it was like very fucking interesting. And they didn't miss a lot. Like all the stuff that you told me that's like all this obscure shit, they brought it up. Like they spoke about it. It was crazy.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, Louis C.K. brought up the Kurds when talking about Obama and Trump, right? Said that they should never trust us again, or trust America again, basically, because they fucked them over, which they did.
You can type in top 10 times America betrayed the Kurds, and you'll get lists, and there'll be different things on those lists.
Yeah. There were other ones like about the early presidents, like talking about how they owned slaves and how some of them were reluctant to free them. He would basically call them all cowards. He said they were all very, very smart, very very principled people.
When you say,
but cowards, and it was very interesting to hear
I think
him
it comes
say that.
Partially that came from the Enlightenment, because the period when the revolution happened with the Enlightenment, that kind of gave it the vibe, and then that tradition continued.
Yeah. And when they were talking about the presidents running up to the Civil War,
like talk about a preventable war, like
yeah, that's what they were saying, is that there was
they
like
say
a
this
run
with
of
every war,
presidents.
but goddamn, is there a war that could have been prevented? It's insane.
Yeah, like a series of 4 presidents before Lincoln basically did nothing and let it fester.
Well, like
and
just
fester and just
James Monroe, right? James Monroe does the like it's like there's 2 of them. It's the like Compromise of 1850 or something, and then the Missouri Compromise.
Yeah,
there's 2 different ones. Both of them kick the can down the road instead of just taking slavery on at the time.
Yeah, that's right, because Missouri was added, so they had to add Maine, was it? Or New Hampshire, one of the 2.
Yeah, and one of the compromises, it like this state could be added, but then this and this, and then that made deals on like these ones in the future would be that. Yeah, but like some of the biggest mistakes as far as like the legacy of slavery, the biggest one, all right, like above anything else that like has ever like that any of those men have ever done, the biggest mistake that any of them have ever done is George Washington not freeing his slaves before he died. He should have freed them. See, like before he was president, he was at a meeting where they discussed slavery. Yeah. And just people's arguments in that meeting against slavery convinced him that it was abhorrent, and then he continued to keep slaves until he died.
Yeah. Well, that's the other interesting thing, is talking about all this stuff, and he's talking about how he was talking about firstly that Washington didn't free his slaves. None of them did. He spoke about
he wrote it in his will that night. That's it's like, good job, bro. You know why though he didn't do it? Why he was afraid to, right?
No, it was something about legacy or money, something like
money.
that.
It's money. So he had already went bankrupt twice in his life, so he's terrified of being poor again. So instead, he like inflicted human suffering.
Yeah, very cool. There was, the other,
and this is the guy we like admire as being like the best of all the presidents.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck off.
And the other thing that was very interesting that you've spoken about to me before as well was this whole idea of Washington being king. And they spoke extensively on this subject, and that he was saying there was one thing that stuck out, is that they actually discussed what they would call the person at the top. One, the title, and two, how they would address them. And most of the founders were pushing for Your Excellency, I believe.
Yeah, Washington was, I believe, the one who pushed for a simple, modest. He said like a simple, modest Mr. President. I think it was Washington.
Yeah. Or it might not have been. They were debating whether it was Washington or not. It may not have been.
But like
I don't think they figured that out.
this humble play that Washington had, where it's like, it should be modest, Mr. President. Look,
Mm.
bro, you're showing up to all these meetings in your general uniform. Like, come on. Like, we see what you're trying to do. He's doing the thing. No, it shouldn't be me. Oh my.
But the other thing that was super interesting is that the term president, where it comes from, that it's like the position presiding over the people who were, you know, presiding over the people instead of ruling over them, right? You've been chosen for this service for this period of
Especially when it was
time.
a confederacy and not a republic.
Yeah, and then I believe they also spoke about the Speaker of the House is called Mr. President, I believe.
They normally say Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
I don't know about that, though.
Mm.
There might be
It
title.
might be the Senate. It might be the Senate where the Vice President is taking.
Yeah, the Vice President is the President of the Senate.
Yeah, okay. So it'd be the Senate. But and they address him as Mr. President as well.
Have you heard the thing where they say that, like, I think they say that Franklin says it, it's the PragerU will push this. Anyone who wants to do, we're going to educate, like it's like, they do the PragerU kids, the Daily Wire kids. Anytime they're going to talk about the stuff, you'll see it all the time where they say that his response was like, what kind of government did you form? And he said a republic. And that, like, a republic, if you can keep it or something. There was like a congressperson who said this as well, and then they got community noted that that's not what the quote was. And then there was this whole thing about, they should be forced to have a civics test because it was like Democrat. Oh, they said a democracy or something. And because they want it to be a republic to make it seem like that the Republican is always what they wanted. And it's like, bro, they formed a confederacy. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, literally.
Yeah, if only it stayed a confederacy.
Like, yeah, and that's what's wild. And then the Confederacy calls themselves a confederacy, and they're not.
Yeah,
they're like more centralized. Like,
hilarious.
You fucking idiots.
Yeah, and that's not saying the Confederacy. I'm saying it would be better if the entirety of the United States was a democratic confederalist system. It would be much easier. I think anyway. Having those 50, like it would still work basically the same way, right? They would still have the representatives from the states. It would just operate in a much different way.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is one of the reasons why America's government is so strong is because the Confederacy failed, though. Because there was inherent flaws, and that's, allowed Rhode Island to exploit it.
Yeah.
We can totally talk over this video, by the way. You can just play it and we can continue. And like so like the two biggest things is the currency, having a centralized currency.
Which was more for tax purposes.
Yeah, well, also the states allowed their own taxes instead of like a flat federal tax.
Yeah.
And then also, like, they each had their own military instead of it. So that's the big thing, is they wanted to take all the tax money and put it into the military. They needed to form a stronger military industrial complex because of the events that were taking place.
Yeah. American possums are so funny.
Yeah, they're like, I think they're the only like marsupial we have on this side of the world.
Yes, they are. The lone cousin. Look at it go.
You know that they're like essential to our ecosystem?
Are they really?
Yeah, they're one of the 3 essential species to the American ecosystem.
That's crazy. What are the other ones?
Well, there's not everywhere in America. They're, where it's most of the eastern side. So the others are raccoons and polecats, aka skunks.
Really?
Yeah. So, but the possum is the most essential because you know how they have the more teeth than any other animal.
Sure. I
So,
didn't, but sure.
yep, they have the more teeth than any other animal, but they can't actually bite or defend themselves at all, right? They can just like
Yeah,
look
they just sort of
scary.
play dead.
Well, they'll look scary and play dead. There's different
Yeah.
techniques that they'll do, right? But it's the reason they have all those teeth is because like 90% of their diet is bones.
Mm.
So they
Really
actually poop like extremely fertile bone meal.
interesting. That's actually very interesting. What an interesting animal.
Yeah.
They're so different, like incredibly different to the possums in Australia. Fucking cretins.
And the fact that like what animal almost exclusively eats bone?
Yeah, not many. Hyenas, maybe, but they have like
Hyenas eat meat and
meat.
bones. They can just chew
Mm,
through the entire
yeah.
carcass.
I don't know how people hate these things. They're adorable. Look at your little
People think they're
stupid
ugly.
little face. Look at this stupid little face.
People think they're ugly, and then they get hissy and open their mouths, so people get scared of them.
Yeah, but that's when they're the coolest, is when they got their mouth open, showing all their teeth and shit. They
Yeah.
carry all their babies on their back. It's funny as.
It's
I
like
love that there's
what's the point
videos
of being a
called Pissing
marsupial if
Cows
you're
on
not
Ice
using
Cream.
the pouch to carry your babies? You know. It's funny. It doesn't want the chocolate or the cone. It just wants the cream.
I'm not sure if eating ice cream.
Oh, it's fine. They're nature's garbage disposal. They eat fucking
Sure.
rotting flesh and bone.
True.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sugar in that shit.
It'll be
Might kill
fine.
it.
It'll be fine. They can eat basically anything.
It looks like a little one.
It's about as big as they get. I
Mm.
mean, it's still a pretty big animal if you think about it.
Mm.
Like most animals are not that size.
Yeah, true. It's fucking illegal to kill possums in Australia, even if it's destroying your trees and shit.
Yeah, I don't think these ones. I think these ones don't go in trees.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
not
like
sure.
land dwelling.
Raccoons do. People don't know this, but raccoons climb trees
Mm.
and live in trees. Like I've like gone out and like campsites, and you like shine your light up, and there's like 100 eyes above you, waiting for you to go to bed to ransack the campsite.
They're
This
funny.
is what I'm
Animals.
talking about.
This is premium content, fellas.
This is what people came to see.
It's very adorable.
Oh, now it's eating the chocolate. Okay.
Mm. Anyway, let's go to the
Anyway,
last one.
Jackson is like
That
really
is,
bad because he centralizes the federal branch.
Yeah.
So it was still pretty confederalized after the Constitution, but he fucked that up.
Mm.
But he's the
Yeah,
most
yeah.
democratically elected president.
Mm.
the Architectural Digest. Welcome
What?
to the Oval Office. Come on in.
What did you just say? Oh boy, MTV Cribs, but it's going to be Joe Biden. Oh boy,
This
can't
is the
wait
White
to hear
House.
about his train
This is
set.
it. On Inauguration Day, the outgoing president has to be out by, I think, noon or 10 o'clock.
What would be really cool, and this would be the kind of place that would do it, is to have like holes along the roof on the inside of the building and like run a train through it.
Don't
That'd
give
be
him
sick.
ideas. Don't give him ideas.
That'd be
You
cool.
think he ends up taking a nap in the middle of this?
Surely. I'll be back. I've got to take my 15-minute power nap.
O'clock in the morning. Incoming can't come in until 4 o'clock.
I don't know
So you
what to
can
do
decide
with
like
my
a hotel.
hands.
furniture and what decorations you want in the Oval Office. I'd asked my brother to help me set up my office.
MericaBadAbi.
The rug and the furniture, because he's a better
I don't know
architect
what
than
to
I
do
am.
with my hands.
What they do is in suburban Maryland,
There's a
there is
suburban Maryland
facility that is replica in terms of dimensions of the Oval Office. And so you go out there and pick
Looks
the
like a
furniture
circle.
and the rugs you want, see what it looks like. And so my brother knows my taste extremely well.
No way.
I love this rug. I love the color blue. That's the one thing I
Lucky,
knew I
'cause that's the
wanted.
presidential
The rest
colors.
my brother picked out for me.
Very
And he
lucky.
had called a good friend, John Meacham, a presidential historian, for some help.
Dropping names.
I've spent more
Busts
time
are
with
so creepy.
Chinese leaders
Why would you
than
ever
any
have a
other state.
bust
And
of
he asked
someone?
me, he said, "Can I define America?" I said, "Yes, I can. In one word, and I mean it. Possibilities."
Ugh.
We
Fuck
Americans
off,
think
bro.
anything
Yes,
is
I can.
possible.
In one word, meritocracy.
So
What do you
tell
think
me
about
the
that,
United
Dick?
States of America, for God's sake.
He's gonna tell you about why he picked the presidents that are on the wall.
I hope so.
This is my bust of Hugo Chavez.
That's why John Meacham helped my brother pick out those 5 portraits up there. It's all about possibilities. There's not a single thing we can't do.
No, I want to hear about your Hugo
Resolute
Chavez
desk
bust.
That
I can describe America. I hope this is the right one. I can describe America in one word.
Predator drones.
That's
John
2
Kennedy
words.
had. And remember that famous picture
No.
where John, his
Nope.
son, where he
Who?
came out from under the desk? Well, he comes out this door
Oh,
here.
Jack Kennedy. He didn't say Jack
That's where he
Kennedy.
climbed out. Well, I have a little grandson, and what I decided to do when we
That's
came here,
where he
I
comes in
wanna show
here
you.
and he gets in and he comes up and he says, "Yeah,
That's my-
I got hairy legs. They let him touch my legs."
They look blonde in the sun. How much do you think that desk is worth if they tried to sell it?
Insane.
Hundreds of millions of dollars, surely.
I don't think you. But they probably wouldn't sell it. It probably belongs to the fucking federal government because they pay for all this shit. Like our taxpayer money pays for this furniture.
Yeah, and I imagine that if they were to replace it, it'd go to the Smithsonian.
I mean, it's a desk from fucking JFK. You know, like he picked that. He picked a desk from a different administration. You know, so it's still around. Whatever the furniture is.
Yeah.
My grandson, Bowie, coming out from underneath the desk.
That's weird.
It's really an incredible office.
Biden, you
I
really need to
chose
examine the
the
optics
things
on that one.
That
My
sort
guy.
of represent why I got into public life to begin with.
Public
real.
office, public
I want to be able
office,
to sit at
Joe.
my desk, but I
Not
look down
public
to see
life.
the
God,
two
what a
windows.
shit desk. Doesn't even fit the chair. If I was president, you know what I'd get? I would get one of those secret lab chairs. Pay for the $1,500 one.
This is my chair. I've never sat in it.
I mean, the first president with a fucking racing chair, a gaming chair, lean back, feet on the table. What's up? King of the world, bitches.
Gaming chairs suck.
This one does.
Yeah, I got the premium
One
chair.
was
Oh, I like ergonomic.
Yeah, it's the Herman Miller. It's like everyone at the Daily Wire had them, you know. It is like the default like office chair, nice high-end office chair at this point. My mom retired, so I got it from her.
Nice.
is Dr. Martin Luther King, and the other is Bobby Kennedy. Then I have a woman who refused to move to the back of the bus. It's Rosa Parks.
What's her name again? Rosa Parks. It's Rosa Parks. That Bobby. Can we go back to that Bobby Kennedy bust because that was rough. That was a rough bust. What is going on with Bobby right there? Like, did somebody make this out of chocolates?
That is
that is a rough one.
This is a bust of the after.
No, Bob. Oh, yeah, Bobby did get murdered too. I think he got shot in like the torso though.
Yeah, I think he did.
I'm not sure.
He was
in that movie, The Irishman, by Martin Scorsese.
Then I have a woman who refused to move to the back of the bus. It's Rosa Parks. I have her bust in here as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one other person that was from that era. This is Cesar Chavez of the farm workers. He was organizing farm workers in the southern part of my state at the time.
What do you think I kept going? Oh, here's my bust of Hugo Chavez.
It cost me in southern Delaware, but I admired the hell out of him.
a nice desk.
Bro, is that an ape
This is the
on a
love
horse?
of my life and the life of my love. This is my
Was
daughter
that a
Ashley.
Planet of the Apes thing that he just showed?
This is the love of doing.
No, I don't think so.
This is the love of my life and the life of my love. This is my daughter Ashley on her wedding day, and we're dancing the
Weird.
dance of father and daughter. This one is really amazing. This is on the night Barack and I were declared Vice President and President of the United States. My mom, who admired Barack a lot.
Happiest time of my life.
You know, like there's a rumor that his mom wouldn't like sleep in the Lincoln bedroom because Churchill slept in there.
That's so
She hated
funny.
the English that much.
Based.
I don't know if it's true.
I hope it is. Based woman.
Wasn't even supposed to be walking out on the stage. And they said, and now the next president and vice president of the United States, Barack Obama and Joe Biden. And my mother grabs Barack's hand there and look on his face. She goes, come on, honey, it's going to be okay. She walked him out on stage.
That's funny.
She never stopped being everybody's mom. I have this rugby ball over here. This is the all-Irish rugby team. I have two cousins
that makes sense.
who were stars on that team. And they gave me this ball. And then every time I've been
Jesus
sworn in
Christ.
any public office, I've used this Bible. It's just an incredible
Look at that
keepsake
spine.
that's been around in the
That's
family for a long time.
This is my MTV Chris. This is my
Kitty
MTV Chris. Here's my Buster Hugo Chavez and my rugby ball.
I'll give him $50 for it. Yeah, $50. That's how much it's worth.
Here's a portrait of William Shakespeare.
Reason for Ben Franklin, I got to put that up because my kids went to Penn and I was a professor at the University of Pennsylvania.
No way.
This moon rock, it's pretty cool.
Pretty
It's
cool.
literally a rock from the moon.
Can't even fucking touch it. I don't believe it. It's fucking fake. It's styrofoam. It's painted styrofoam. Get fucked. If I can't pick it up and touch it, it's not real.
Here's a bunch of books. I keep a bunch of 32 snubs in each one of them.
What a weird way to stack a bookshelf.
It's better than
This was my
RFK shelf.
67 Corvette.
True.
But my dad didn't have a lot of money, but he managed the dealership. So when I got
67,
married,
boo.
he gave this to me as a gift. I still have it. When I got elected president, Scranton decided to take Interstate 81, and the exit to Scranton used to be called the Central Scranton Expressway. They renamed it
cares?
President Biden Expressway.
Who cares? Who cares? Here's my Buster. What'd you give my Buster Hugo Chavez?
Consequence to me, and I think of all the incredible
look at
things
the old
that
guy
happened
talking
to
about
this
his fucking
office
picture
over the
frames
last
now.
couple hundred years. It really is just an incredible.
How long
honor.
do you think this shoot took?
How long the shoot took?
Yeah. Do you think this is all one day?
7
Let me
hours.
show you back.
Do you think
here.
this is all one
People don't
day?
get to-
No way, right?
Yeah, I think it would have been, but it would have taken.
I'm gonna
hours
need to
do
take
8
note.
minutes.
Okay, so like, it looks like it's snowing out, so it's hard to tell what the light is. But it did not look bright outside. Now it's dark, and it's definitely dark in the next shot.
back
So
here very often. I think these are great sketches.
Here's
of
my
the
sketch of
buildings
Karl
I have
Marx.
them put up on the wall here. There's a private office back here. This is where I come when I want to get away a little bit to work on a speech.
here's the
There's a
drawing I
great
drew of
portrait
myself
of
the first
President
day in the
Kennedy
White
there.
House.
The Kennedys didn't like it because it made him look too contemplative. I think it's a great portrait of him. And on the wall here, a lot of kids will send me these cartoons.
Here's
I
my
put 'em up
favorite
on the
self-portrait
wall,
of
and then I
myself.
take pictures of them and send them
Here's
to
an
the
ice cream
families.
cone. I love ice cream
Which the
cones,
kids get a
Jack.
kick out of, but I think they're really neat. And this is the house I was raised in
Oh my
Scranton,
God.
Pennsylvania, on North Washington Avenue, which, by the way, the last 3 blocks at the end of North Washington Avenue, they call Biden Way now. They've renamed it.
Who cares? Who cares? Here's my MTV crib. Here's my cigars. I got them
My
from
plugs.
Fidel Castro's court.
Here's my pug.
I prodded out of
This
Fidel's
is
coat
a
that
private
day.
dining room. Not many people get to come back here. Barack and I used to have lunch for those 8 years, once a week.
What an
in this
absurd fucking
room
house.
right here.
Oh my
Good.
I
God.
have a lot
Back
of
to the
personal
ground.
family
The amount
photographs
of pictures in the background.
back here. This is a picture of my.
We need to. Oh God! If
son,
he's
Bo,
talking about
who's
every single
passed
picture,
away.
I'm gonna
That's
lose
my
my
mom,
fucking
my
mind.
dad,
Oh my God! Nobody
my
fucking
darker
cares.
hair. And here,
Come here! I just come here and I get lost. I just look at the pictures
command
out
coins
there.
are given in the battlefield, and the president has a command coin.
It challenge coins.
My
you
command
fool.
coin has on the back of it the Bose unit. We went to Iraq for a year, and so I'm going to give you a copy. Give you one. If in fact next time I see you don't
It's
have
got
it,
chocolate inside
you
it.
have to buy the drinks with it in your luck.
It's
I'm the
burning
only Irishman
chocolate.
ever met
You
that's
just
never
peeled
had
a
a
little
drink in his
foil.
life.
It's shaped like my son's head on the coin.
Did you want to see the cabinet room? I want to show it to you. Come here.
They're like,
Come
no? Well, I'm showing you anyway. Come on. God, Joe, we really have to go. It's 11 p.m. You shut up.
Come on in. There's only one chair in here.
This is
It's
where
about 2
we
inches higher
killed
than every other
our
chair. That's the president's chair. These chairs are really, really heavy. On the back of each chair is the name of the department they represent. This is the
And
Secretary
this
of
is the
Energy.
button I pressed to drop him into the lava.
But there's a lot of really incredible things that have happened. in
That
this
China
room.
rug.
It's almost cathedral-like to me.
Stop.
Because when we're in here,
Is that Gandhi
we're
back there?
talking about things of enormous consequence. Beat that little black and tans on God.
Yeah, this is Gandhi. I like him because he was racist.
By the way, there's a tradition in my office.
Here's a chocolate coin.
These chocolate chip cookies are all homemade.
He's giving him chocolate coins, bro. Oh, no. They're cookies. Okay. I couldn't see the cookie inside. I thought it was literally a foil presidential seal. Chocolate presidential seal.
Thanks for
Wait,
coming by.
awesome.
Architectural
Oh, my
Digest.
God.
I'm a subscriber. I'm a frustrated architect. Thank you very much.
Honestly,
That's it, Buster.
didn't learn anything
No more
new.
military aid.
Didn't learn anything new. Except about that Bobby Kennedy bus that's like a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. Oh, back.
Mr. Chairman.
Misinformed.
Okay, let's go. The Hunter Biden cock updates.
Mr. Chairman, I have an inquiry.
State your point.
I'm
Mr.
Chairman, don't we
Anytime
have
somebody
House
comes up
rules
to
and
talk about the
committee
clip, jump
rules,
over it.
regarding subpoenas and then rules about having hearings and having questions with witnesses
We
that
do.
must be followed?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to reclaim my
Could you
time.
state the rules, Mr. Chairman?
ex-
I'd like to know the rules of the House and our committee.
Read them. You've got members who've defied subpoenas. You've got members who we are 1 year into the term asking what the rules are at the beginning of the committee.
The tap
book
of the
was
watch.
given to us on day one.
If anyone out there is keeping count, that was
for his indulgence here. Our good friend, the gentlelady from Georgia, referred to the murder of Ashley Babbitt. Well, the Department of Justice, the United States Attorney, and the U.S. Capitol Police Inspector General all rejected the idea that there was any
Point of
murder.
order,
There was
Mr.
no-
Chairman.
the-
Or inquiry.
What?
No such thing.
Unanimous consent to enter information for the record.
What's the information?
Oh my God.
I
State the information.
thank you.
I reserve the right to object. The minority has not provided a copy of the material for the record. In the past, she's displayed pornography. Is pornography allowed to be, or pornographic photos allowed to be displayed in this committee room, Mr. Chairman?
It's not pornography.
Okay, well, you're the expert. How do you?
I'm not an expert, Mr.
Seems like
Raskin.
it.
yesterday's hearing looked married.
Anyone, nude photos, pornographic images that were completely irrelevant to the purpose of the hearing itself. And my question to you is, are members allowed to simply put up sensationalistic, voyeuristic, pornographic images if they're not relevant to the actual object of the legislative proceeding? I want a parliamentary ruling on that.
But you've got members here that have submitted falsified evidence to the record. You have members here that have submitted and mischaracterized closed door hearings, and people want to say back and forth at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what party it's happened from.
She's really
You've got
settled in.
members who've engaged in revenge porn in this committee.
Yes.
So it is
That's what I'm talking about.
understandable why
That old
Hunter
crime.
Biden would want to testify in front of the public for the American people to be able to witness that testimony for themselves.
But one particular exchange is worth
committee under Chairman Raskin last session.
Oh,
I
this is
take
like
great
the new
pride
villain.
as a white female Republican
really?
to address the inadequacies in our country. I come from a district where rich and poor is literally black and white, black versus white on most days. It was a very beautiful speech by the gentlelady who, as she mentioned, was helped lead on the now majority side, the Civil Rights and Civil Liberties Subcommittee. But I think it's so exemplary of the point that she also oversaw the elimination of the Civil Rights Subcommittee on this committee, which really kind of gives the whole game away. We show up, we give speeches, we give flowery words, but at the end of the day, participate in the structural erosion of the rights and representation of people that are marginalized, women, people of color, people that just need to see their due process.
You can
and
tell
civil
that they
liberties
really
protected in
fucking
this country.
strategize
turning
this
your
shit,
attention to
knowing
the-
that these sensationalist, pointless hearings,
Mm.
right? And like they're literally killing the reporting on Hunter Biden's cock because they are just destroying them throughout all of this. Like they definitely went in, they planned for all these, like they know exactly how these fucking clowns act.
Oh, for sure. And it's all in an effort to give people enough ammunition to whenever anybody brings it up, be like, here, look.
Yeah, they
Just
constantly
watch.
they want us there, constantly like wait, that's the queen of adultery? What does that even mean? They constantly would be like, Joe Biden and his son should be in jail. And it's like, okay. And then they want to always be like, his son did this, and that's why he should be in jail.
Okay.
Tiny brains, bro.
It's so strange.
Of the world in front of the public. Hunter Biden took him up on that offer. He said, I will show up in public. I will show up in public. He showed up here today. He showed up here in the past. And Mr. Chairman, I know you do your best with what you've got, but you've got members here that have submitted falsified evidence to the record. You've got members who've defied subpoenas. You've got members who we are 1 year into the term asking what the rules are at the beginning of the committee. The book was given to us on day one. And so what we should do is allow the man to testify. I believe in the power of the Oversight Committee. Frankly, I believe in it regardless of whether Republicans or Democrats have the chair, because I believe that this committee
the
should
older
have the
lady,
power
I think,
of
did that.
oversight. And we
That's what you
cannot
mean.
do that on a partisan basis. And so for
I didn't
that,
really pay attention to that.
I implore
I don't
this
know what it
committee
was about.
to allow Hunter Biden to testify publicly. I implore and I ask for that to happen. And we cannot do that by getting engaged in this back and forth on a defiance of the subpoena. Let him comply. Let him do it today. Let him do it tomorrow. But let the man do it. And with that, I yield back to the ranking member.
Here's the thing. Yeah, it's certainly something.
Because I a crash. I hope it's going to be during this next 12 months.
Oh yeah, Trump just said that
Because
he
I don't
hopes
want
the
to be
economy
Herbert
crashes so
Hoover.
he
The one
wins.
president, I just don't want to be Herbert
He also
Hoover.
was like, make sure you go to the polls, even if you die, it will be worth it.
The fuck?
If there's a economic
Insane.
crash.
Also,
then
I
you
think we
hope it
should mention
happens-
the results.
Mm.
Trump did not get above 50%.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So,
Mm.
a lot of people who aren't sensationalist have been saying that they think to 30 to 40% of the Republican base is what backs Trump. And the rest is split among the rest. He's still like way ahead in the front, but the rest are split, right? He got 40%, which is exactly what people were saying that the base should reflect.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
The big
Well,
thing is
it
Nikki
might
Haley
matter.
getting 20.
Yeah. It won't matter when he's banned.
Well, he still might start losing to Nikki Haley at this point,
True.
which would be even crazier.
20% is pretty massive.
Mm-hmm.
Now.
He's acknowledging that my economy is doing pretty darn well because he doesn't want that to continue. And by the way,
The editing in this video is a clusterfuck.
Yeah, that's how it's like all these channels that are shills for the Democrats. They just want to put in clip shows.
Yeah.
We can move on because there's tons of other clips of Hunter Biden's cock, you know. Not of Hunter Biden's cock, but them talking about Hunter Biden's cock.
I'm just gonna pick random ones.
Oh, here we
The
go.
Houthis have made a humanitarian intervention in the Red Sea in an effort to bring the genocide in Gaza to an end.
This guy is just so disheveled.
He just said the Houthis made a humanitarian intervention in the Red Sea.
What a fool.
The Houthis have killed nobody while disrupting shipping in the Red Sea, ships which are facilitating the Israeli genocide. The Israeli regime has killed over 23,000 civilians. Over 10,000 of them are children. So who did the US and the UK attack? No, they didn't attack the Israeli regime because they're supporting the genocide. They attacked the Houthis instead, killing at least 6 people. So Western powers are prepared to kill people to protect the movement of goods. But the same Western powers killed thousands with sanctions in Iran, in Syria, in Venezuela, preventing the movement of some goods.
You know who else killed
thousands? The Houthis are showing solidarity with the Palestinian people, just like South Africa did in the...
What a clown. Katie Porter.
And like you imagine the rest of you just sitting there staring at him, being like, oh God, it's this guy again.
As far as I can tell, and I'm really on the struggle bus here, what Republicans seem to want is they don't want companies or investment managers to use ESG. Why?
Ask them. I don't know. I would imagine, as I said earlier, you know, if there are signals that inform your view of future cash flows and risks, as a fiduciary, you would actually fail in your responsibility if you didn't look at those signals.
Right. So, I mean, investment managers have fiduciary duties to make good investments. If they find ESG useful, then they find ESG useful. And if you disagree with them,
why are they
and you
talking
think
about
they're
this?
mismanaging your money?
This is what
sue
the
them.
Republicans
missing
control what
here?
they do
Or
cases
short the
on.
stock. You don't even have to sue them.
That's how it works.
I mean, if you have a view that
they get to pick
short
the
stock,
thing.
make
So that's why we're
money,
talking about
you
Hunter
can be
Biden's
an
cock
activist,
and how
right? That's how capital markets
ESG
work,
is
and that's
bad.
where the
And
discipline
now we
comes
have Katie Border up here, the economist, talking
I mean,
about
I just-
so
I'm
businesses make
really
money and that's
struggling
bad. Is
here
that what the
to
Republicans are
understand
saying? Like
what
she's just playing so
Republicans
coy.
want to have happen. Are they, from your understanding here, it seems like what they want is they want companies to do things that they like. I too, by the way, would like companies to do things that I like. And I sometimes choose to invest in companies whose practices I like more. But Ms. McLean, my colleague on the other side of the aisle, is saying that if companies want to use ESG, they should be free to do it. Did you hear her say that?
I thought so, yeah.
Then what is the point of this hearing?
The chick behind her is
I'm with
trying
Ms.
not to
McLean.
laugh.
I think
Oh, there she goes.
companies
She's
should
giggling.
be free to decide for themselves whether ESG practices are beneficial to their bottom line and their business model and help them attract customers or don't.
This one.
I too think that asset managers should
This
be
chick
free to
is just
decide
fucking
that ESG
cracking
data
up.
helps them make good valuation decisions and good investment decisions. And if they don't, they should be able to ignore it. I honestly, I can't believe this is part 2 of when part 1 was actually the stupidest hearing I've ever been to. And now we're having a part 2. Please, God, let there not be a part 3. Dr. Ragnapal, is it better for pension fund managers to have more options for investing people's retirement savings? Or is it better if they have fewer options?
I think we get the point with this one, you know.
Yeah, I'm just obsessed with
It's
her.
only got a minute left. We can finish this one. Right, it's only 4
What is a
minutes.
pension fund manager primary responsibility?
She's just been laughing the whole time.
The other girl is just
Make sure
looking at her
that
feet,
the
trying to
premiums
ignore
are
it.
done commensurate with the pension benefits that have actually been promised to their workers.
Great. Will limiting pension fund managers' investment options increase retirement savings?
Not that I can think of.
But that's and by the way, you are not just thinking about it. The Kansas Division of Budget did a study. They found that limiting pension fund managers' investment options would cost the retirement system $3.6 billion in reduced returns over 10 years.
Nice.
When
It's
we
so
cut
wild.
off
Like
companies and
this
asset
is,
managers,
like the Republicans literally they
choices.
create nonsense issues just to hold up government.
Yeah.
Yeah, jump through a sting. Jump through a sting because we're just going to see whatever he says again.
Doing something. I said, wow, wildly inappropriate.
Oh, wow.
No, not just in
inappropriate.
uniform, right? You go out and work for somebody. Walmart, middle management. You do this. Walmart's going to say, wildly inappropriate. Now, I understand Gunny's here is out.
You can't be showing.
whatever,
You can't be
but let's just
letting
assume
people
she's
pay
in.
to see your vagina in a
Is this what
military
you're looking
uniform.
for? Let's assume she's out. I mean, what does this say? If you go to hire her later, the women who hire will hate this. Men will be like, wow, what a piece of,
Bro, she's literally in like part of the organization that like contributes to like murdering people for trade routes. She's in the military, bro. Like it doesn't matter like what position she has. She ultimately is supporting the, like that turns out pedophile guy said, all U.S. soldiers are war criminals.
Which one?
Oh, the one, Mr. Taco or whatever.
We're not talking about him anymore.
I mean, why give him the time of day?
Fair enough.
When we can talk about this guy, the prime American.
I think we should name and shame pedophiles.
Bro, look at this guy has perfected frowning. Look at that shit. Bro, he's gonna be they're gonna make Judge Dredd, but he's gonna be like old and retired. It's gonna be just this. Cover the top of his head. That's the movie.
Stashes out of regs. I'm gonna be like, first of all, make sure your gunnies aren't facing me on Instagram.
Ladies, I need you to speak up on this one. Why the hell is this being done?
Why do ladies have to speak up on this? I mean, if it's a dude, he's in uniform. Let's say he's active duty. It's wildly inappropriate. Let's say he's not, or she's not active duty, but they work at Joe's Plumbing.
First of all, fake military man. Let me go grab a photo album, and it's just military guys with like dildos, because they're always think it's so funny to get drunk and start playing with dildos because they're all doing secretly gay stuff. I don't really have a photo album, it's just a joke. Like I was in the military. That's the like sentimental album that I kept of like all the gay stuff I did with my military buddies, because we know what happens there. They say the Navy's gay, it's all gay. This is where you go to experiment with the boys. If you didn't get it in summer camp, you get it at the military.
It's not appropriate work attire because Joe doesn't want this representing his company. Make it real simple. And what does this do to her going forward if her job is OF? Okay,
what does
I
it
get
do?
it. If she wants to move up, let's say she goes and gets a high-powered education and wants to move up into politics, a lawyer.
Okay.
Women won't respect this. Men won't respect this. They'll be about it, but can we talk real or do we have to pretend? Because we're going to get to
that's real life, is it?
Camis.
Captain fucking reviews TikToks as you're fucking 70 years old. Shut the fuck up. You wouldn't even know what real life is that slapped you in the face.
What is she doing wrong?
The fuck
making have you seen like how but men can like do all the humping and stuff, but as soon as she makes the fucking cross-eyed weirdo face, then
rumor
it's
has
over.
it this Marine was ADSEP, administratively separated in 2020. I don't know if this video was made before or after that fact. This is a gunnery sergeant. Like on average, you're going to have been in the military for like 12 years. Videos like that ruin it for the rest of the amazing women in the military. Imagine being her sergeant major. Imagine being one of her Marines. I mean, hell, imagine being her dad.
This guy is going to kill a woman.
Yeah. 100%.
I'm muting Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Do that. You're her boss.
Do men just like hate women? What is up with straight men, bro? Like, do they just like hate women? Is that what's going on now?
I don't know.
Fellas.
I don't know. Also, you need to add
more alpha
add another name to
when
the
you get
banner.
drunk and you start bringing the dildos out together.
She was administratively separated. Can be lots of reasons. Who knows if that's true? But you work for it. You see this. You're a young man. Most of the Marine Corps is men. You're like, wow, my
Men.
gunny I work for is hot.
Men.
It's just a workplace distraction. Is what it is.
Oh,
You don't need that in your life.
No
But that was a
women,
dude,
no women in leadership.
and he
Okay,
was
women
with
can't be
another
leaders.
dude,
Women
his
can't be drill
husband,
sergeants.
and they were getting
Jesus
down. It'd be
Christ.
Wiley.
So by the way, I
But for his
messaged.
wife.
They did this thing. They were passing around. It was like this really short, like drill sergeant, right? And
Mm.
so like people were like mocking it, being like, "This is why I couldn't be in the military. How would I not laugh at this?" So
Mhm.
like I figured out because like their name is on the uniform. So like I looked her up. The picture's like 12 years old. So I went on
Okay.
Instagram first, and I'm going to email him next, but I went on Instagram because I reversed image search and it took me to the Instagram, right?
Mm.
So I messaged the Marine Corps, like her entire like identifying rank, base position,
Yeah.
all that shit. And like was like inquiring if there was like a way to get in contact with her, because like this is the type of person that I want to talk to, who's like literally a Marine drill sergeant, just to like, just so like these guys, anytime they cope with that type of shit, we could just reference that video that we make with her.
True.
If
Yeah,
I can
true.
fucking get a
That
hold
would
of her.
be great. Sent in private chat.
No, I was about to pull it up anyway.
So if it's a man, you don't need a lady to speak to this. This guy's a leader, sergeant major. He can speak to this clearly, right? I don't need ladies to get involved. And then he apologizes. Stand by.
Disrespect the uniform like that, I got a big problem with it. Stop making these videos and stop posting them. Men do way worse stuff than this, Barry. It's like, spare me, dude. We ain't deflecting here. This is about this video. Like, this is wrong. It shouldn't be done. It makes me sick.
Okay, I agree with him.
So don't watch it.
This video, not what men do.
Have a
It's like
cry.
the guy with the comment with the mustache. The
Oh,
mustache
I can't take it. Women being sexy
You're right, I
online.
agree with him.
Can't stand
So it's
it.
not
Guys-
good for any
guys
of the
be
parties
trying to
involved.
put their
Male,
vagina in
female,
my face,
you wearing
and
a work
I'm like,
uniform
whoa.
doing this.
Came here to hang out with men.
It's so funny. Just it's so easy just to ignore it. Just scroll past. So easy. Yet so many people just struggle.
And the bigger issue I have with it is down the road, she may want to have a career. She may have children. She may want to have a nice
your
husband.
issue.
Let's say she meets the nice
Respect
guys
the
in
symbol of the
politics. He sees
country.
this.
Bro, all
You're
flags are on
You're
hold.
staining your future. Right? With this kind of thing, because she's not 18. Clearly, she's an adult.
I posted a video about this person
18 is an adult. Fucking dickhead.
yesterday,
Right.
and I want to apologize. I feel it was wrong for me to include the comment from the other gentleman about the gunny face effing him on IG.
Well, why? Okay, you include the comment. Okay, maybe you didn't like that.
How do people
But
watch
he
this
didn't say
guy
it.
and take him
I don't understand
seriously?
why people
Bro,
backpedal.
it's
so
so
much.
120,000
What
views.
she did was
It's so
factual. It's
crazy. And you know
inappropriate.
who's
If it was a
watching
Marine-
him? People who look exactly like him, who also pretend that they were in the military and never actually were.
They all
I
just
love
watch
it.
it with
I
a
love
massive
I
frown.
love throwing his content on every now and then with you, because it's so funny, because like this is like peak male, this is what the alpha male is, right? This guy, this is what they all want to be.
Mm-hmm. Peak alpha male.
That worked for him or your daughter or your employee, you'd say,
Who cares?
Let's take the uniform off, the Joe's Plumbing or the Marine Corps uniform, whatever you're doing. Because I care about you. I want you to get ahead. And this is going to get you ahead.
Yeah,
unless you're
because you
doing
know
no
what
life.
the
'Cause women
people
will
think is
despise
hot
this.
is sexy plumber girl.
Definitely. Yep. 100%. He's the person you should be taking advice from.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Look at how far he's gotten.
Men will be like, ooh, I like it.
The reason that I want to do this is because I feel that I created a forum for men and some women to come in the comments and
his
just
girlfriend,
say some nasty
his girlfriend
stuff.
railed him.
And so
His
as a
girlfriend
leader,
was
I
like,
feel
"What
it's
the
my
fuck did you do?"
responsibility because I am
Right?
responsible.
This
for
is
my
him
page.
actually apologizing to his
100%.
girlfriend. This
Yes.
is low key. My girlfriend broke up with me because I said this shit about women yesterday, and now I'm trying to like put a shirt on and look like a nice man.
You're 100% correct. He got chewed out.
To take the lead on that. And so this goes out to every single person that saw that and is in the comments. If
you post something on TikTok, and this guy's still in, from what I can see, he's got some dilemma here because people start reading the comments. You get some
Oh my God.
young major who's a WM, if you can say that, female, sees that and says, well, you're creating a hate environment, aren't you? It's a no-win, I think, to be on social media unless you're recruiting and you just keep everything clean. So if he's gonna do commentary on her, that's a bad move. There is no upside to that.
You don't like what she did, that's what you say, and you end it there. It's not your license to call names and insult. It's not a
This is
license
so
to attack or
frustrating.
degrade. It's not a license to talk.
Not sure what a license means. She's putting it on the internet. That's what you're going to get.
Wow.
So him saying, "Well, just keep
Fucking
it civil."
hell.
You put something like this on the internet. You're in a uniform.
It did that.
People are going to comment. That's just what it is.
Damn.
So saying it's not your license, you can't say it. It's going to be said. It's on TikTok.
It's not a license to talk about all female service members or to call names and insult. It's not a license to attack or degrade. It's not a license to talk about all female service members
Bro,
or to talk
I'm
about how
actually
she
woke,
got
guys.
promoted. Because here's the thing: if we think accountability is
Bro,
important,
this
we
is somebody who
completely
this is somebody trying to avoid sensitivity training right now.
detract.
We don't have accountability. Look at the Afghanistan withdrawal.
Oh my
Bro,
god.
Lieutenant Colonel Schiller speaks on it. He's kicked
Bro,
out of the
oh,
Marine Corps.
cool, Jameson. He's taking
Accountability's not at the
accountability
top.
right now. You fucking
He
idiot.
can want accountability. I like what he's saying. But expecting people not to comment, unless he's commenting to a group of Marines, it's going to happen on social media. I like reality. I live there.
Oh,
from
he lives
accountability
in
when we
reality.
start
No,
making
you
those
don't.
personal attacks. I did my best to articulate that. For me, it's not about female Marines. It's not about women. It's just about the
It's just
uniform.
about this
I
though,
personally
right
did not
here.
agree with the fact that it was done in uniform. But again, we need to be respectful and keep the issue the issue because I'm not better than her, and neither are you. And
Wow, he just backpedaled everywhere.
Didn't he?
If
Wow.
you got administratively discharged and you're grading Marines, you would say he is better. He didn't get kicked out, right? You
What
just said
about
that.
you?
Common
You?
sense.
What about you? Who
I guess he was
pretends to be a Marine and never was?
told, you need to apologize, son. By probably some female major, female lieutenant colonel. What are you doing here? Absolutely not.
God, I'm so over this.
Yep. Next.
Oh.
He's the best.
Have Republicans unofficially decided already?
Whoa, dick.
No, of course they've already decided. This is nothing more than games for them. And it's a matter of a way to distract from the fact that the Republicans are unsuccessful at doing anything. It's also a way to make it seem as if there's something nefarious going on. They want to make it seem as if President Biden and his family have the same types of issues as Trump and his family, and there really is no comparison.
Jameson just
We
trying to
know
process
that Trump
mill
has
talk drama
91
that's going on is
counts
just
pending
always
against him for
funny
a
to me.
reason.
So
Kind of
we were
assassinate
just talking
now.
about with Julie Jester on Capitol Hill. Hunter Biden's attorney sent a letter to the Oversight Committee yesterday saying now if the committee submits a new subpoena, he would comply. So the question is, which Julie didn't have an answer to yet because they haven't told her, will the committee do that? And would it prevent him from being held in contempt? I mean, do Republicans on the committee, they just want him to be held in contempt so they might not consider issuing the new subpoena? What do they have to lose by doing that?
They do just want him held in contempt. But one of the reasons and rationales that they gave before for why they needed to take this impeachment inquiry vote was because they did want to put some power behind their subpoenas. One of the things that was learned in the last impeachments that took place as it relates to Trump is that the courts really required that Congress act in some way to legitimize the authority in which was sought to subpoena people in an impeachment investigation. And so we know, and if the Republicans do decide to basically acquiesce and say, yeah, okay, we'll agree that we need to reissue, then that tells
There's
you
no
that
Republican
they are
that knows what
agreeing
acquiesce
that
means.
it was
No.
invalid on its face in the first place. So I think that going forward now, on whether or not he should be held in contempt, I
Jasmine
think that it
Crockett
puts
is
that
literally going to turn Texas blue, by the way.
I believe it.
It's
She's
just-
great. She
You know
should run
that,
for president.
there's a lot of nasty shit going down on the border with Texas, basically.
No?
They're
Like what?
they're basically competing between like the like state militia and the federal militia.
Okay.
So like the state militia is like doing things like to ensure people die.
Great.
And so they need to like step up with a federal like, the federal needs to step in and be like this is not like your place. This is it's the border. It's the federal government's place.
True. And yeah, especially because it's an international border.
Jeopardy, and they need to see what he does when a new subpoena is issued.
So you had a pretty strong reaction to Nancy Mace's comments about Hunter Biden's appearance at the hearing. Let's take a listen to what Mace said.
You are the epitome of white privilege, coming into the Oversight Committee, spitting in our face, ignoring a congressional subpoena.
There might be. We'd have to see. But it's the thing is like if there's grounds for him to be on a case, then there's grounds for Maloney to be on a case. Like, we're still better than Europe in this regard.
To be deposed. What are you afraid of? You have no balls.
Okay. You had a strong reaction to those comments in the hearing. I'm curious your reaction to hearing that again.
I mean, it is absolutely insane. This is what we do, right? When you're on the Republican side, is you use phrases that really do have some deep and hurtful meanings for people that look like me. You say things like white privilege, which I'm not saying that Hunter Biden does or does not enjoy white privilege, but not showing up to this committee has nothing to do with white privilege whatsoever. There may be a privilege that Hunter enjoys, but it definitely isn't necessarily because he is a white man. And having it come from
so
someone
that's
like Nancy
so I'm sure you've seen like the buoys that have like basically buzz saws on them, and then the community notes was like they're not actually circular saws, they're just pointy pieces of plastic or something like that, right? So they like made buoys for them to like not be able to cross, right? And literally like the guard turned their back on the people drowning and let them drown behind them.
Very cool.
Yep.
Great people.
So
really
this is what I'm saying is what that's it's not even just the drowning. There's other things like they may be like basically trapping people in the desert to die of dehydration and shit too. That's another part of it. So
awesome.
The story needs to develop a little bit to really know what's going on.
You need to go down there.
I could go down there.
And then her retort.
If I had
Wouldn't be a bad.
If I had the money.
Yeah. Subscribe to the Patreon. Get your name and give us money to go to Mexico.
I mean, Ace still has like work and school and stuff, but I was like, Ace is not that far.
I'm sure he'll take the time off. Like, that'd be cool, camping out in Mexico and interviewing migrants and shit, finding out what the U.S. forces are doing to them.
There's a lot of people there right now.
And I am sure that there are plenty of people in the border guard who would talk.
I mean, that's what you do. It's like, so like now it's funny because it's more online, so you like see it. But like, even when it was still more where you would just pick up from corporates where they would always call you like their random correspondent, even though it's like you've never worked for them before. Right. So like we would all go down and be on the border. Right. And like we would pick up like border coverage, right? And that would always, the border crisis, it would last for a few months, right?
Yeah.
So you'd make a shitload of money just like sitting on the border and like basically like somebody has an RV, shit like that, or you like know somebody lives there, right?
Yeah.
And so like you take that money and then like after the border crisis ends, they all go to Mexico and start partying in Mexico and shit. Like, because you have just like a bunch of money to blow. And then then I started picking up a few contracts while like on the other side of the border in Mexico. And like, that's when I got to like get to see like actual drug labs and shit and how disgusting they are. It's wild.
It is wild. It would be something very interesting to
It's like right on the border, these fucking labs too. It's only a few miles away. It's crazy.
It would be very interesting to legitimately look into how hard it would be to get enough funding to like go down there.
It's not that expensive.
No, I mean for us, like to go down there, like actually go down there. I mean, we could use phones and the fucking cameras that we all have at the moment. Like literally, just flights and accommodation.
Well, that's what you do is you go down there and you do pickups while you're there to make money while you're down there. So like all these people are getting paid by doing pickups with like different news shows and shit.
Okay.
So like normally, the big thing you want like there's a lot of like unions right
Okay.
now. So like if you like work for like one of those unions, or like there's stuff like like Scooter Caster,
Mm.
like you could, if you just like basically are like tight enough where you can be like, hey, I'm going down here, can I sell you the footage? Like she like aggregates a ton of that like
Mm.
random footage that doesn't end up going on like that's not like
Corporate
syndicated
press.
by corporate cameras and shit.
Interesting.
So
we'll
that's
discuss.
the point,
more.
is you make money while you're there.
Yeah, we'll discuss more.
To what I said, having to do with the likes of Harriet Tubman, which I was like, lady, I don't know where you're coming from, talking about Harriet Tubman, but I do want them to
I know where she's coming
that
from.
white privilege exists. And actually, she realized and said that she was one, if not the only Republican that tries to work on issues as relates to minorities. Now, whether or not I agree with that is a whole other issue, but really checking your privilege at the door is what Nancy Mace and the rest of her Republican colleagues need to do at all times, and be cognizant of how they act, because they employ the same white privilege as we sit in committee, and their MAGA friends that follow them do the same things, as they have so many derogatory things to say about me on social media that have nothing to do with substance, but because they are white and half of them literally lack half the education that I have, but somehow
It's so
they feel
true.
as if
She's like
they are
probably
superior
one
to
of the
me.
more educated people on the committee.
Yeah,
Like,
she certainly sounds highly educated. What
like,
uni did she go to?
Well, she was also like a district attorney or something.
No shit.
Yeah, she
Okay.
was like, she has like high level like legal experience.
Okay. She should run for president. Can you imagine her on a debate stage? That'd be fucking great. I'm waiting for it. What, 2036? Whatever it is. What's this year? 826, yeah. 36. Let's go with 36.
As a black educated woman in America.
She was a civil rights attorney, public defender.
Oh shit.
During the George Floyd protest, her and her associates took pro bono cases on behalf of several Black Lives Matter activists.
Good evening, Natasha.
Interesting. UFOs? News Nation.
Bro, this is
Hell yeah.
This is so funny. This is so funny. It's literally bird shit. like you can tell by how the thermals react and how they pick it up that it's bird shit. Because
so
like how the cameras are aligned, like somebody literally explained why it's bird shit and like why it's not a UFO, and like
start with
how
the
cameras
jellyfish
align.
UFO video released by Jeremy Corbell. This is over a U.S. base in Iraq. What do you make of this video surprising so many people this week?
Look, the problem, there's one issue I have with that video, and it's an issue with a lot of imagery that we see of UAPs. I don't doubt that it's come from sources who've told Jeremy and George Knapp that it is a UAP. The issue with the video is that we're told that it descended into water and then it came out of the water after 17 minutes and was seen to hit off at speed at 45 degrees, which suggests some kind of intelligent control. The problem is, the best part of the description of the account.
So what? It's bird shit on the lens.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Right? Because they're like, it's changing heat signatures, and like the reason it does that is because of like how the lenses align. Because it's like on like, because like the one is like a gun lens or something.
Yeah.
It's totally bird shit. You can totally tell it's bird shit.
That's so funny.
Is not.
They're
on
calling
video,
it the jellyfish, bro.
It wasn't there out on video. What we're being told happened in that
definitely bird
incident
shit.
in Iraq. Whilst I'm not saying it's not a UAP. I'm not the person that's been talking to the sources that have told George.
Can you believe it? We're
Jeremy
reporting
this.
on bird shit
I
now.
do wonder though whether
Amazing.
it's possible to get more of the video to
Truly
be able to validate it further.
News
Yeah, I
Nation.
really appreciate you bringing this up, because Jeremy, as you say, has claimed that the extended version of this video shows the UFO diving
I didn't see only news.
later at this high rate of speed, this angle you mentioned. To your knowledge, does any man-made tech have that sort of?
It's because it is.
Like what he said, the unedited version does this. Okay, where's that?
Yeah, where is it?
Transmedium capability?
There are some drones that are in development that are capable of going underwater and then coming out into the air. But I think what we're seeing here is an object that's not consistent with normal drone technology. It's something completely
It's bird
off
shit,
the wall,
actually.
frankly,
It's
in
bird
terms
shit
of
on the
what we would
lens.
think of as something that's
This just in, it's bird shit.
capable of
They
doing
actually filed this
kind
as a
of
potential UAP too.
That's so funny.
movement. But unfortunately, we haven't seen that entry and exit into and out of the water. So it's very, very hard to make a conclusion.
Ross, why wouldn't he release that extended part of the video?
Yeah, why?
Look, I can't speak for Jeremy, but maybe he doesn't have it. I mean, sources are often very difficult people.
Oh, so he made it
sometimes
up.
for very good reasons. They don't leak
Uh-huh.
a full video. I've been in that experience myself. It's a very frustrating game working as a journalist, dealing with sources
job,
on
actually.
this UAP issue.
Yeah.
There might be identifying
Why are you
marks
gay?
on the video at that point which would allow the source to be identified. I don't know. I mean, from what I understand, though, I understand Jeremy said that the object was under observation and seen to enter the water and then to exit the water after 17 minutes. So maybe the simple explanation is he didn't get a copy of the video showing the entry and the exit to and from the water, but his sources have told him that that was the case.
His sources.
It's frustrating, but
Not the
frankly,
best source.
journalists are only ever as good as the sources that feed us.
Agreed and understood. Ross, this
Uh-huh.
was a topic coming up.
I understand. I'm a journalist. You see, I work for News Nation. That means
What was that
journalist.
statistic we saw of the percentage of people who are actually like conservative journalists?
It was 97% liberal.
Want to
Jesus
about how
Christ.
January 6th was
Yes,
nonsense.
more of her. I love this. I could watch this for days, just her yelling at people.
But all of y'all were running at that time. Y'all were grabbing y'all's gas masks and y'all were running to your offices because you didn't know if they were coming to kill you. You should have cared that somebody was there to protect you, but instead you want to play games because you found out that it was your leader that decided that he wanted to propagate an insurrection on our country. So don't tell me that you care about the Constitution because you don't.
That is shaming Republicans on the House.
We should get that as a soundbite, just that last bit.
She sits over their pro-Trump obstructionism in a hearing where those Republicans voted to recommend a contempt charge against Hunter Biden, who is not a public servant but is named Biden. That is what the House Republican majority considers governance in 2024. And Congresswoman Crockett joins me now. It was messy today inside that
Same
hearing room, which
outfit.
I guess is
Nice.
sort of par for the course. What is your takeaway from today in terms of what they are after, what they're trying to do?
So you're insinuating that I learned something, that I gleaned
I don't know if there's
something.
anything to be learned, actually. I watched part of it and didn't glean a ton.
It didn't reveal anything more than what we already know, which is that this is more so just about making sure that they are showing their loyalty to Trump and that Trump can pat them on the back and hopefully won't go against them.
Is that a
and
U.S. House throw rug over the top of the couch?
She probably
How
sleeps
much-
on it, bro. She
How many
probably sleeps-
taxpayer dollars do you think paid for that blanket?
They probably give them to
Thousands?
them. But like that
Maybe.
couch looks like a futon. She probably sleeps there a lot.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
There's something. Have you seen like the fucking Chuck Schumer where he sleeps and shit?
In their bachelor pad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have seen
So
that.
funny.
It's disgusting.
I know.
To cause them a problem in their primary. It has nothing to do with the American people. It has nothing to do with truth and transparency. It has nothing to do with fairness. It has everything to do with making sure that they're pleasing to Trump.
You know, you made that point I just want to circle back to, which is to the
Making sure that they're pleasing to Trump.
you made that point I just want to circle back to, which is to the extent there's an actual.
Did you pick that up?
No, I was making a tweet.
She
about-
said pleasing instead of appeasing.
Oh, like she purposely
funny.
did it.
I don't know. Maybe.
Sort of substantive conflict being litigated here. It's about Hunter Biden and testimony. Hunter Biden has volunteered to give sworn testimony under oath to the committee in public. And they say they don't want that because they want to do it behind closed doors. And the point, as I understand,
honestly, like out of even though she's new, like out of everyone in like the progressive caucus, I think she's the strongest one.
I agree.
Like
I
Katie
agree.
Porter is definitely like this, like the powerhouse
Mom
there,
type.
but like she's like I don't think she's like debate and like that type of like showstopper material.
Yeah.
That's why she's running for.
definitely-
Isn't she taking like I think she's taking Dianne Feinstein's seat. She's running for that
Maybe.
seat. When
Yes, the Senate.
Dianne Feinstein died, and she immediately like announced that she was going to run
Yeah,
for that seat.
yeah,
And then the establishment Democrats were like real salty about her doing that because they wanted to give it to another guy who was going to do
Yeah, of course
whatever
they did.
they wanted there.
Yeah. I hope she gets it. And I hope she goes for more. I really do. Like, she would be great with more power. Based on what I've seen so far.
Porter's out after there, so there's no way she's going to beat Schiff. I don't know. I haven't looked much
Transcript would then be
about the race.
Effectively leaked in a way that is, intentionally deceptive.
Absolutely. I called it alternative facts or lies, however you want to couch it. That's exactly right. We know that they have
Alternative facts or lies.
changing the facts to suit whatever their mission is at that moment. And so if I'm Hunter and I am under criminal investigation, the last thing that I want is the court trying to chase down information that allegedly came out behind closed doors.
Right.
He's trying to say that I'm here. He said that on the day that he was subpoenaed to appear, he showed up at the Capitol. He was ready and willing to do it in public. He showed up today as we were debating whether or not there should be, and actually we weren't even supposed to be debating. What
If Katie does lose to Schiff, which will, it's pretty likely. We'll see, because he's more like of a recognized name, I think. But if she does lose there, then you could potentially see her go for the presidential run. But I don't think she would make it. Well, and that's the thing, is it's like people would be excited to see someone fresh. And I think she could bring the Bernie Sanders energy.
True. She wouldn't
and be able to
necessarily
say
have
more
the
than
worst
I have a
thing.
black friend, and his name is MLK.
And she'd probably not let people bully her off the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Where
She would be like the new Elizabeth Warren type that people would like.
Yeah.
The floor. Who knows if they'll get that far as it relates to whether or not he should be found in contempt for violating this subpoena. And I want people to understand about contempt. Contempt is usually this intentional disregard. What Hunter has done is made it clear that he is not intentionally disregarding anything. And the chair wants to go back on his word when he said, you can do this or you can do that. Now he's saying, never mind, I don't want to do either one of them because now you showed up.
Yeah, that's an important point.
The
too.
Southern
This is something
really
that
comes out when
you and
she's
some of your
talking passionately. It's great.
colleagues highlighted, there are members of the House Republican majority, including Jim Jordan, Scott Perry, and others, who are serving members who were issued subpoenas who did just essentially tear them up and ignore them, right? There was they didn't say, yes, I'll come in under these conditions and enter into a sort of negotiation over accommodations. They basically said, no, we're going to
When you say, when you're saying maybe
they
Porter could get a position
haven't
in
been
the
recommended for
administration,
contempt.
you're talking about the 2028 admin, or like potentially she could force her way into the current like Biden admin, because sometimes they do cycle admins on a re-election. And all,
I mean, who knows? Who knows what'll happen?
If I'm not mistaken.
No, they haven't been, and they absolutely voted to make sure that Hunter could be held in contempt. Their excuse is that the January 6th committee was not a valid committee. This is their opinion. The courts have determined that to be not the case. And basically,
Get a job
our
within
chairman
human
said,
services.
well, you guys were in the majority. You could have held him in contempt. You chose not to hold him in contempt. And it was made clear that they ran out of time.
She
as
could
they were
easily
going
get a
through
job.
all of the
I mean, look at Kayleigh McEnany. Like she bounced right into Fox News from Trump. I think she was on Fox before then, but Katie could easily bounce to MSNBC and have a fucking position there.
For life as well. Well,
no,
could
she would
stay there
take it
as
for
long as
like
she
2
wants.
years until she was going to run again, probably.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying that she could take it for as long as she wanted.
Proceedings, fighting with them, and at the end of the day, January 6th committee ended up with an overwhelming amount of evidence, and that is why we
Yeah, Katie
have
wouldn't be a
former
bad press
president
secretary,
that
but
is
she's.
facing
I think
4
her
different
strength is really
indictments
an
with
economist.
91 counts.
Yeah, with the whiteboard,
There's something
exactly.
very, this Congress today, which was this was happening in the House, in your committee. And at the same time, there was a sort of procedural vote on what's called the rule, right, which was to move to.
Is there anyone in the who else in the Progressive Caucus is like
the rule
an actual like lawyer background?
I'm not sure. I'm going next.
Yeah, there's a lot of clips of her. So.
Of order, Ms. Crockett is recognized for 5 minutes.
More of it.
Amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm introducing this amendment to emphasize the importance of telling the truth. Chairman Comer has given us alternative facts about the testimony of Mr. Devin Archer provided to this committee, the Democrats and Republicans, but behind closed doors. Again,
You can
it's
tell that
common
she's a
sense
lawyer.
not to trust my colleagues on the other side of the aisle when it comes to stating the facts, because they are the same ones that gave us alternative facts about the election. They gave us alternative facts about January 6th. And thus far, they have given us alternative facts.
Yeah, she stopped saying lies to them directly because they get pissy when she calls them liars.
So I do have a few receipts that I'd like to go through. On December 6, 2023, Chairman Comer tweeted out that President Biden emailed with his son's business associates. But let me be clear, when consulting the transcript, it was determined that those were alternative facts. The actual facts found in Mr. Archer's transcribed interviews show that President Biden was not involved in his son's business activities and that during his more than a decade-long business relationship with Hunter Biden, Archer never witnessed President Biden have any involvement in his son's business dealings or take any official actions to benefit Hunter Biden or his businesses. And Archer never witnessed Hunter Biden discuss the substance of his business with his father or ask his father to take any official actions. Again, in August of 2023, Chair Comer stated in an interview to Newsmax
Air Force
that Mr.
One
Archer,
to China
quote,
is a pretty big red
admitted
flag.
that the Burisma executives were
Getting a dink on the Air Force One to China to make your little business deals is pretty red flaggy.
I mean, come on, look at. You want to talk about red flags, bro?
Wait a minute. I'm just saying that, like,
We
that
have
seems
Send in
pretty
Jared.
dodgy.
J-Man.
I mean, obviously, but we're not playing whataboutism. We already know about him. I'm just saying that it's pretty dodgy that he gets a free flight to China to do his business dealings. Where you can't fly commercial, private, like
they all
the
do
fuck?
this though.
No, I know.
Okay, that's what I figured. Rex and the guy who's like with the head of the committee. He's not only an attorney; he was a law professor.
Okay.
He's the only other guy here, like doing like legal jargon and these things.
Pleasing Hunter Biden to try to do everything he could to get the prosecutor Shokin fired because they were going after their corrupt energy company. And lo and behold, a few days later, Joe Biden actually did that. After consulting the transcript, yet again, it was determined another alternative fact. The actual facts are that Mr. Archer specifically spoke about Ukraine and Hunter Biden's role with Burisma, the Ukrainian energy company on whose board they both served, and repeatedly stated Hunter Biden never discussed Burisma with his father and never asked his father to take an official action to benefit him or Burisma. Mr. Archer further stated that he had no reason to believe Vice President Biden's call for Shokin's removal was driven by anything other than the U.S. government's anti-corruption policy in Ukraine. Chairman Comer again tweeted, he loves his Twitter, on December 6th that President Biden was on speakerphone with the Biden family business associates.
She's
over
not about
20
to do that.
We
I know.
consulted the transcript, and it was determined again, another alternative fact.
This is great.
Mr. Archer's transcribed interview actually states that while Hunter Biden spoke frequently with his father, sometimes When Hunter Biden was with other people, Mr. Archer stated he never witnessed any discussion of substantive business during these calls. Again, Chair Comer's association with reality about information brought forth by witnesses he demanded come in. Well, Chair Comer, we spun it again about Mr. Archer's statements when it came down to President Biden.
She's so animated. It's great.
When we consult the transcript over and over and over, it's been determined that the facts that have been laid out by the members of this committee on the Republican side have been alternative facts. When Mr. Archer was directly asked during the transcribed interview if President Biden was the brand, Mr. Archer clarified that DC was the brand and that he and Hunter Biden helped to assemble a team of attorneys, lobbyists, and public officials, public affairs professionals to handle Burisma's government relations, and President Biden was not part of the DC team. It is no wonder that Hunter Biden wanted to come before everyone in public because, Mr. Chairman, it is vital that we continually have to set.
Okay, we get it. Next, bit of break from news.
Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years with Obama. You know why, Joe? Because you're all talk and no action.
All right, Vice President Biden, and then we're going to move on to the next section.
We had a Republican Congress.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn? Hey, hey,
I'm so excited. There's a part 1?
Did he give you a shot of testosterone and did he help you grow a
I think I gave them a shot of testosterone and gave them some backbone today.
Bro, there's an infinite amount of these types of videos.
When you're at home, can you run down to the kitchen in your underpants in the middle of the night if you're hungry?
I mean, I could. I don't. President's dinner are important.
I mean, really? What is this Senate? And why am I required to come to it?
Rudy Giuliani. I mean, think about it. Rudy Giuliani, there's only 3 things he mentioned in a sentence, a noun and a verb and 9/11. I mean, there's
Obama had like the best dinners, the Predator drone jokes that came out of his like monologue at a dinner, but he brought in that guy because that was his black side.
Yeah. It's Keegan Michael Key.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's fucking hilarious.
He was real popular at the time.
But him and Jordan Peele did an Obama impression, which is probably why he got picked. They didn't need Obama, but they needed the other guy.
And then Trump wouldn't even do the dinners because I don't want people to make fun of me.
Mhm.
Even though I did a roast for Comedy Central. Now that I'm big and powerful and have money and I'm not desperate, I don't want to do that.
It's quite showing and quite pathetic that he didn't do it. Like it's really pathetic.
Mistake. All right.
And then we have fewer ships than we did in 1916. Well, Governor, we also have fewer horses and bayonets because the nature of our military has changed. We have these things called aircraft carriers where planes land on them.
They say burying water is against civil rights. What did he really say?
When I hear your new ideas, I'm reminded of that ad. Where's the beef?
We're done with the establishment twin buddy system. I believe in Jesus, guns, and babies.
Oh my god.
Oh, shut up.
What is happening?
He's so bizarre.
I didn't know that. I just, you're telling me now for the first time.
If we can forgive $7 billion in debt for Egypt, surely we can help our neighbors here at home.
Guess what? It would be a nuclear war. And he does have plenty of nuclear capability. In the meantime, I have a very good relationship with him. Different kind of a guy, but he probably thinks the same thing about me. We have a different kind of a relationship. We have a very good relationship, and there's no war. And you know, about 2 months ago, he broke into a certain area. They said, oh, there's going to be trouble. I said, no, they're not, because he's not going to do that. And I was right.
Is there anything you regret?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to have done certain things over, but you can't. You can't. But that's true in life. I'd love to have done in life certain things over, I guess. And you would have too.
Give me one.
You would have loved not to have contributed to the Clinton Foundation as
Taxes.
He's so funny.
Ah, relief at last. But not for you. Just for the few. Get your share of tax relief.
He uses the N-word, the nuclear word, all the time.
The
That's a
N-word.
no-no. You're not supposed to do that. He uses it on a daily basis.
He was someplace in Iowa today, and he said my name so many times that people couldn't stand it anymore. No, don't keep saying it. Sleepy guy.
I don't know how you did it. I put together some really impressive deals.
This is my
But
favorite
this thing
commercial.
you pulled off. It's amazing. A big and tasty for just $1? How do you do it? What's your secret?
If we need New York City pizza to come down to Florida, we're going to roll out the red carpet for you guys.
Hold on. Wait. It's the one time that this is
It's at the
actually
top.
fucking in
It's at the
context.
top.
Where?
What are you looking for?
Hold on. I need to find this and then go back. Where is it? Then I found it.
If we need New
$1? How do you do it? What's your secret?
Grimace is now a gay icon.
If we need New York City pizza to come down to Florida, we're going to roll out the
Worth
red
it.
carpet for you guys.
Thank you, Governor.
All right. Just let her rip like this.
Yeah, let her rip.
All right.
So this is the coal-fired oven, and according to the government, this is killing the environment. Let's
It
have a
is.
slice.
Bro, it's just coal.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, man.
literally,
That's
granite is
really
better.
Yeah.
Like, the granite bricks are better than the coal.
Yeah, they work better. It's a wood fire oven, is it?
Well,
works
wood
as
does not get hot enough for you. The thing is, that's the thing is, it's like the New York City pizza. It's like flash cooked because it's so thin,
Yeah,
right? Don't scream! Don't you
The
scream!
fuck was that?
He knocked over his ramp to get back to the cage. But like, yeah, they like flash cook that shit, so the oven's insanely hot.
That
It,
makes
like
sense.
regular ovens don't get close to it. Like,
Yeah.
like
You just need longer cook time, but you don't have that luxury.
the thing is like, even if you're trying to make like a classical like pizza with like that you're supposed to like make in like a stone oven like that, you can use wood, but it's a home oven doesn't get anywhere near that because you can't get hot enough no matter how the cook time is. It just can't cook it the same. Like they sell like pizza ovens you can plug into your counter just to get to the right temperature to make your pizza, you know?
Yeah.
That's so, imagine being that.
It does always come out of the oven soft and not great. Air fryer does great when reheating it.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you.
Yes. If we don't get what we want, one way or the other, whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay, fair
Absolutely.
enough.
And
We
I am
disagree.
proud, and I'll
We
tell you what,
disagree.
I am proud to shut down the government.
And one way to fight
What a
evil with
cunt.
good is you can help by writing letters to boys and girls your age.
In which direction would John Kerry lead? Kerry voted for the Iraq War, opposed it, supported it, and now opposes it again. He bragged about voting for the $87 billion to support our troops before he voted against it. He voted for education reform and now opposes it. He claims he's against increasing Medicare premiums, but voted 5 times to do so. John Kerry, whichever way the wind blows.
What is this?
Oh, do not start playing 9/11 shit. It just autoplayed.
9/11?
Not playing 9/11 shit. They're gonna definitely take us down for endorsing Al-Qaeda. All right, do you know about these cups?
No.
Right. Okay, so let me explain something. Let me explain some history behind this. The reason why I put this on here is not because I want to do a story about these cups, but I want to again comment on how lazy Anna Kasparian is at her job. How little of a fuck she gives at her job. All right, so These are basically the new Crocs right now. You know how Crocs, they didn't only just sell the slipper, they sold the gems on it. And then it's like, then they buy like accessories for the Crocs and stuff like that. Right. So like they have like stuff where it's like, oh, you could get a special keychain for your chapstick with these cups. Right.
Yeah.
So these cups, they literally don't have a seal. If you knock them over, they leak. They don't fit a car's cup holder, right? So that they made it so it's always has to be carried, right? So that makes it so it became a fashion statement, but you'll never guess what community it started in and why it became a thing.
White.
Close. That's they are white. They're a special kind of white person, though.
Incels.
I mean, you could say that these people are incels. You know,
like Andrew Tate types.
Well, if you see the way they look at porn is they put like circles over like all the porn, so they have to fill in the imagination, but they don't actually look at the nude person because they can't do that, and they wear special underwear.
Are they Christians?
They're Mormons, right? So it's a Mormon company. So it started out as like advertising to this Mormon niche, right?
Yeah.
And now it's just like they released this pink Valentine's limited edition thing, and people were literally camping out like, you know, like they used to back in the day, and like other people are like, yeah, you could just reserve it curbside.
Fucking idiots.
So this
Honestly,
caused the newest Tickle Me Elmo punching at the store craze.
Right.
So that's the story behind it. Now, none of that really matters. It's just about Anna and how bad she is at her job.
Remember when people used to do that for TVs?
No, they didn't do it for TVs.
Now they're doing
they
it
did it
for
for
literal
PlayStations and shit. It was never TVs.
Cups called the Stanley Cup. Over the past few months, people have been going absolutely feral over the Stanley Cup. It is insane. I don't understand it.
I'm
but
fucking better than
Stanley's quenchers come in a variety of colors and sizes and will cost you between $45 to $60. That's what they look like. They look.
That is insane. Buy a Yeti cup.
They're not even good cups. That's the best part.
Like, just buy a Yeti cup. It's cheaper and it's actually good. Also, they're literally made for American cup holders.
Yeah, see, somebody did guess it. I don't know when they guessed it. It was probably after I mentioned the special underwear.
Like any other tumbler that I can find at Marshall's
No,
or
it's
TJ
worse.
Maxx
Look,
for $5.
a Yeti.
I'm not kidding. I don't understand what this is about. This is insane to me. No judgment to people who have fallen for the marketing manipulation that convinced them that they absolutely need a Stanley Cup.
You are
no judgment.
garbage.
But spend your money elsewhere. Come on, do better. Do better. Now that's
I guess then
just
you
for
reference
cup
the
lid
circle
and
porn.
straw.
My man.
Oh, it does come with a straw.
Hey,
That's good, I
don't
guess.
you jump.
Many Stanley owners will deck their cups out with stickers, bags, clips, and name tags.
Wow.
Oh my God, they resell this? John, they resell this to both Johns. This John and that John. John, they resell this.
Like, you know, I'm not over that.
John, they resell these.
I'm fucking better than you.
Script, bro. Isn't
Huh?
that insane?
What'd you say?
Beachy, don't jump out from the top. Go around. Hang on. I'm letting out a chinchilla. Go down.
Seriously though, if you're gonna buy a cup, just get a Yeti. I have one with the University of South Carolina.
She didn't even read her script. She literally sat down with the fucking prompter in front of her.
There.
This is crazy.
Yeah, like every other luxury good, obviously you're gonna resell it. That's why you buy it. It's an investment property. Duh.
Some customers are reselling the pink and red Valentine's Day Stanley Cups on eBay for more than $200.
Yeah.
For a 2-pack.
That makes sense.
Why are you shocked?
Yeah, that's not surprising at all. Have you seen the people that try and scalp gaming stuff? Those people should
No.
expire violently.
Spend your money on subs for us.
Yes.
We actually work, unlike Anna.
But like the PlayStation 5 released the first themed plates and themed console, right? Bonehead idiots make a shit ton less than demand was obviously going to be, and the first thing they do is fucking sell out, and scalpers have them, and now they want half the price of a console for pieces of plastic that go on the outside. Scalpers should expire violently. Self-expire violently, please. As violent as possible and as
Well,
painful
you know
as
about
possible.
like how like the game collection, retro game collection market is fake
Mm-hmm.
because they like buy up a stock and then like rate a game and
Yeah.
buy it from themselves and shit.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
How fucking Pokemon Emerald is $190. It's insane.
Ounce tumblers selling for
Okay,
just
y'all need to stop knocking over your
just $45 at Target. I don't know, John. Am I just
Also, yeah, I got this. This bottle is to fit my Yeti bag that has a. It won't fit the 1.5 liter one. That's why I don't have it. Or else I would have it.
ridiculously cheap? Like the idea that I would spend $45 on a cup blows my mind. I would never do that.
Well,
I'm
you
fucking better
wouldn't
than
spend
you.
$4,500 because those ones are just stupid cups everyone can get. You'd buy the $200 resold limited
Whoa.
edition. You might not have any money to fill the cup with liquid afterward, but that's what you do. It's not about sustaining your body with fluids. It's about,
I hate
don't
this
know,
guy so much.
portraying a cool image on TikTok or whatever.
And people aren't afraid to spend the big bucks on these tumblers. Some people have mass collection. They have mass collections of them. Point of view, you have a cup to match
Why?
every outfit. Okay, so it's a fashion statement for
Why?
some people.
It's literally
And,
the new Crocs, Jack.
Look, the next video we're going to
I
show you
told
is
you.
actually
So
really, really
stupid.
sweet.
They're just Crocs.
And I love the
They're more
relationship.
functional than Crocs. At least you can drink
This
out
is-
of these.
This is true. You can drink out of Crocs.
That's
I've
true.
tried.
You can, yeah, you can do a shoey out of them. Have you seen old ones? They do a shoey out of Croc. Who in chat?
Ship that you're
who
about
in chat
to
knows what a
wit-
shoey is?
One, at least one will.
What about a
This-
leggy? Leggies are the step up.
Out of a prosthetic leg.
Yeah, but you have to kill the Afghan chief. You get it.
But at the same time, I can't believe anyone, much less a child, would
The
get
competition was
emotional
unfair.
over receiving a Stanley Cup. But here we are.
This is rapid. Look. Now, I want to hang on. Can we pause for a second? I just want to point something out. Can we see how this thing is wrapped up in just like literal like brown paper bags, right?
Yeah.
She's also, if you look next to her, she's got a smartphone too. Right?
Yeah.
So like this clearly is like, it's like you can assume that like this is a big deal. This like the little girl understands how much money this mug is worth. Right? And she knows that it's like if she has it on TikTok, it's like a status thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's probably fucking huge for her knowing like that they drop. I mean, it's not that much. The iPhone's more expensive, but you know, they're hard to get.
Yeah.
You know? And like even the iPhone, like it's like in a plastic bag and stuff. They could be trolling knowing that they're gonna go viral too. That's another total
Yeah, true.
possibility. But it's like, why?
Nothing's
Like
real.
Anna, like who are you to fucking judge what a kid gets happy about?
What do you mean? Didn't you hear? Like, seriously, did
I'm
you not
fucking
hear?
better than you.
I know. I know, Anna. Like, how do you know if that's not like a gift from a specific family member too? That was like makes it more
true.
sentimental and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
like imagine being so pretentious that you're Anna and you're like mocking a child because they're happy they got a cup. It's like it's literally
Actually
only like
pathetic.
$40, 40 to 60
Yeah.
bucks. You know, it's not like that crazy.
Well, it is. It's $100 fucking here. It's $100 mug.
Yeah, no, that's really expensive, but still, like, it's
You know
still
what else you
like
could buy for that? A fucking video game, and you get way more
again
fun out of it.
though, like an iPhone was next to her. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not like it's the fact that they
The
probably
value
had to,
didn't
like,
matter.
it was limited edition, so they had to make an effort to get it.
Mm.
Which is the effort is
Yeah.
literally just you've just reserved curbside, and
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
just pick it up. So
Yeah.
There was only a few of us in line, and
Oh
I
my
was
God.
the third, fourth person. And the lady opens the door and tells us that we don't have any more Stanleys left. They only had these two because the employees took them all.
Lol. That is actually hilarious.
Good.
Suck shit. Welcome to the fucking gaming world. Shut the fuck up. This is what we have to deal with all the time when we want something and scalpers pick it up before us. Scalpers and the employees.
Listen, you don't understand Taylor Swift tickets.
Well, that's another story. Like that's another story, but like I'm just speaking from experience. Because this happens with limited edition shit all the time. The limited edition Halo Xbox that just came out, people wanted twice the price for it. Still do. It's fucking insane. Like, nah, fuck you. Sit on that shit. I hope you fucking run out of money before you have to sell that back at retail price. Fuck yourself. If I could rant about scalpers for a long time.
Whoa! Get out of here! They just tried to grab it. Look at them. They're trying to steal. You guys, this is insane.
What?
They're trying to, because the cups are right by the doors, so people started running in, and they're also exclusive to Target as well.
Okay. So this guy jumped the counter to try and steal one.
Uh-huh.
Whoa! Get out of here!
It's like another girl.
They just tried to grab it.
That's what I thought. I'm like, is he just trying to steal it, or did he yoink it from someone?
Look at them. They're trying to steal. You guys, this is insane. Look at this dude, stupid. Get him! Stop
Nice.
him! Stop him!
Do not do this.
Oh my God.
And if you are gonna do it, go harder than that. That was pathetic. Like, if people are gonna put themselves in front of you for a fucking product, bowl them over. Fuck that.
The person, that was part one. The part two of that video, it's just them getting away. So that's one of the only like things that I have. I've seen the girl and I've seen that one before.
Also, if you work at one of these stores and you see someone stealing something and they're running for the door, let them go.
It's Target, you know.
Don't put yourself at risk for the company that will replace you if you get injured.
For a $40 item.
Yeah, don't do that. Let them steal it. The company's got insurance. They'll be fine. But just don't.
God. Okay, so
Okay, I've had enough of her.
Oh no, this is part one for her video, bro. She did a part two. Crazy. We don't want it.
I don't want it.
What the fuck? Same video.
That's what.
When was your first cigarette? Do you remember?
Bro, this shit is so funny.
Yeah, I remember it really well.
Yeah,
it was
boy,
delicious.
yeah.
And my father smoked and he smoked unfiltered cigarettes called Pall Malls. We called them Pall Malls.
Oh yeah,
Pall Malls, but they were extra long, flavored with licorice. I think made by the American Tobacco Company. Great cigarette in a red pack, and we had many. So that's. I don't even know if there's a picture of he smoked right there, one down. That right there. That's the cigarette of my childhood. He picked him up in the Marine Corps when he was 17. I guess they came.
That's the cigarette of my childhood.
That was the cigarette of my childhood. There was always one smoldering in an ashtray in our kitchen and everywhere else. Anyway, but I was like, when I was little, I was against it. And my father really loved cigarettes. And he wasn't embarrassed.
I can never tell whether Theo Von is being sincere or not. It just makes everything he's in hilarious. Because I just take everything as a joke.
I smoke, but I feel bad about it. He was like, no. And I smoke unfiltered because you feel strip them when you're done. There's no filter. You smoke them backwards so the enemy doesn't know it's an American cigarette. You burn the logo off the paper. He really likes cigarettes, and he felt sorry for people who didn't smoke. So I was like maybe 13. I was in 8th grade when I started, and it was totally.
Where were you? Were you out with the boys, or you was at the house and you smoked?
I was at school.
Smoked one at school?
Oh yeah, it was loud actually. It was a pretty freaky. I was a teacher. I know it sounds like it was in.
He's got such a fucking weird laugh. This is he's acting like this is something that's like, oh my god, I'm a rebel. I smoked a cigarette at school. Guys, I smoked a cigarette at school. Like,
you ever see the movie Thank You for
Shut up.
Smoking?
No, but I know what it is.
He's literally acting just like that guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so funny. Like this is literally a normal thing at my first high school, not the one that I finished at. You would just walk around and there was like a specific shed on the school grounds. It was called the smoker's shed because it's where all the kids would go to smoke. And it's like everybody from year 7 to 12. And then the teachers would walk past, everyone hides their cigarettes.
Like the vice principal would come down and like, because we would smoke like just outside the like it's like just outside the school grounds. There's like pylons that like mark the school on, but it's technically like you're right next to like someone's house right there, you know. So you always have the kids smoking and doing stuff next to your house. I'd imagine that's pretty annoying for the person who lived there.
I bet.
But they had big bushes, you know, so and like you could literally in the winter you could get inside the bushes, not on their side, but on like the side. You could get inside the bushes in the winter and like all like huddle up in the bush.
Oh, that's funny. Have a smoke in the bush.
Evergreen. It's all evergreen shit. So like the way they work is you can get inside them really easy. You can just walk inside and it's like
that's funny.
Insulated.
Just smoke billowing from the tree.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. But there was we used to have a driving school, like an automotive class, because it was a tech school, right? And we had an automotive class until my year. I think it was my year. Might have been the year under me. Someone drove the car, turned the corner, and hit someone. One of the students ran someone over in the school's automotive program, and they ended it. Ended it. Done. And I'm like, this is so disappointing because I didn't get to do enough of it, and I fucking wish that I did at this point because I wish that I knew how to work on cars. But
this whole like story that Tucker Carlson is telling though, it sounds like a story like my dad's like old, you know, like my parents are retired. It literally sounds like something I'd hear from like the dad of his generation. Like it's like this sounds like a boomer story. Like Tucker Carlson does not seem like you know, old enough to have experienced this type of life.
A boomer story, yeah.
It's weird.
In the 1800s.
Sounds romantic, I think.
It was romantic. It was great.
Just to sneak, it sounds like espionage.
No. It was totally open. You could smoke at school. I could smoke at school through senior year of high school. Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
You could smoke as a child at school.
Oh, yeah. I had parental permission, yeah.
Really?
I shouldn't be saying this. You know what's so funny?
Weird.
People would be like, yeah, I did ayahuasca or DMT, and everyone's like, it's so cool. It's like, yeah, I smoked a cigarette. What? You're a criminal. But,
this guy's so much cooler than Bill O'Reilly.
I wouldn't say smoking is a great long-term play.
Yeah.
I don't think that it is. Where I quit when I was 45 because I felt like I probably should.
Yeah.
It'll probably get me anyway, but I did enjoy
Anyway,
it.
I'm 46
really
now.
did. I never had a bad one. You know?
Yeah.
There are no bad cigarettes. You're not like, oh, this is disgusting. I never felt that way at all.
There are no.
I've had bad Big Newtons.
That's a fucking lie.
Every smoker that I know says that there's specific cigarettes they'll never touch because they're disgusting. I'm like, bro, you smoke cigarettes.
Okay, first of all, listen. Listen. Like a nice Turkish cigarette, like a Camel. Like they don't tell you this. People think that it's like just like the same tobacco as like Marb and all that stuff. To Camel, they mostly do like all Turkish tobacco. They're owned by like.
Is it like natural sort of thing, or is it plowed with fucking chemicals like most tobacco companies?
Oh, the thing is that they added shit to the cigarettes to make them more addictive.
Yeah, I know, but like, is
But
that
like
how they are?
Newport is the one where it's like you can feel the fiberglass, but like,
oh, cool.
Like, of course, there's all that chemicals and shit in it. But the point is that Turkish cigarettes are like more on the level of like a cigar, right? It's just that they're so fucking addictive, like the cigarettes in general. And like, so like I quit with a vape because I would actually meant to quit smoking, right? So I would lower the nicotine level in the vape every time I refilled, right? So eventually it was just 0 and it was habitual, right?
Yep.
But so many people are getting more addicted to nicotine because you can just vape anywhere.
Yeah.
I think Theo actually might say that in this. I heard somebody say this recently. It might be from this because I screened this.
Andrew Huberman talks about it all the time, and I looked into it before, like while I was starting, because I'm like, do I really want to? Whatever. So I looked into it. Nicotine is not the thing that's bad for you. Yes, it's addictive.
No,
but
it's
not really the thing that's bad for you.
It's not good for your cardiovascular system.
Yes.
Because like it's like it's gonna accelerate your heart rate and stuff. And
yeah.
But like the thing is that the vapes that's so high, they end up they keep banning them and they end up like releasing one. And it's like so fucking high in nicotine.
Yeah.
Like the old school ones before they were like disposable over the counter, when you had to switch to a vape, you could actually control the level.
Yeah, like with the mods, the mods.
And like a lot of there's studies that say like vapes have been most consistent out of like other like treatments, because patches work the same way. You cut back on like how much you use. Like that's the whole point of them. But like, bro, I'd smoke like a Turkish cigarette any like day of the week.
Because it's very interesting how like the chemical nicotine is a very interesting drug. It's very much like THC, where it's very misunderstood, and it's because it's clouded by misinformation and cigarettes.
Yeah, because when it came out that they were bad for you, they just made them more addictive, and they went to like court for that, and I think they got like in big trouble, and then continued being able to make them, and now it's like Obama's like banning menthols and shit. What's that shit?
Yeah,
but like just the aspect of like smoking in society,
I mean,
was so close to disappearing before, and then vapes came out.
People look pretty fucking cool with a cigarette, and people look so fucking gay with vapes. And I say this as someone who knows. I know, because I look like that.
Whatever, like, man. Yeah, whatever, man. Panera Bread lemonade kills people, bro.
That is actually true. But that's because it's actually funny, because I looked into this a little bit. The amount of caffeine that is in those lemonades
also,
is the amount of caffeine.
I need to tell my bad cigarette story, but okay, go ahead.
The amount of caffeine that was in that charged lemonade from Panera Bread was the amount of caffeine, slightly less caffeine than's in my normal scoop of pre-workout before the gym. So that's kind of funny. But I'd also looked into the person who died, and they're a person who has hypersensitivity.
Yeah. They didn't
never touched it.
It was.
Yeah, and they had 4 fucking cups of it. I think they were autistic, severely autistic.
Well, there's been 2 deaths. One, they didn't know it was caffeinated at all.
Yeah, and that's the person I think I'm talking about, that they were like, they didn't know, so they had like 4 cups, and then it turns out that they had 1,000 milligrams of caffeine in an hour, and yeah, I'm not surprised they died.
So
anyway,
as I've said, like road life, you totally got it right. So like working Vegas, right? You stay off the strip, right? But like it's legitimately dangerous to like stay in a hotel off the strip. Like there was times where like literally like we gave people money knowing they were scamming us just to like not like get into confrontation and like would lose like $20 or something like that. They
Yeah.
give you like a fake 100, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you're coming me to exchange your money when it's like all these casinos are like literally banks that will exchange your money so quick. Right. But so like we were working in the strip, so we would literally get up because it's in the middle of the fucking desert and you have to walk like a mile, right? So it's like there's a 7-Eleven, all you need. The hotel is like Motel 6 level prices, right? So it's like $50 a night. It's as much as a Stanley Cup, right? And then you also like pack ramen and shit. But you have the 7-Eleven there. That's all you eat. You don't eat any of the fucking hotel food or anything good, right? And then at when it finally gets dark when it's sundown, so it's like 6 to 6 at least, but normally it's huge hours. You go into like the night a lot of times when it's actually nice to walk around at night. But all the Asian people leave their cigarettes next to the fucking pull machines. So you just go through and you get like a bunch of packs of cigarettes, right? And these fucking Chinese cigarettes, man, are so bad. They have 2 filters in them. Like it's the same size as a regular filter, but you smoke it and nothing's coming through, and you like unroll it and you see that there's 2 separate fucking filters in there. So it's like going through double. They're so shit, right? And we're like smoking them in a non-smoking hotel room with like like a window that can't even like really open, right? So you have to like put it out on your own and like put it back in the pack and shit, man.
Jesus Christ!
Right, and you always give them to the fucking homeless guy, because there's one for the dog, right? And like like the people live on underneath the city.
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
So like I'd give him cigarettes like every night coming home.
Could you just go collect them?
Yeah.
It's not a bad way to make money. Bum cigarettes $1 each.
Well, I just give them.
Or that.
They're shitty Chinese cigarettes.
You can screw up almost any consumer product, but a cigarette is remarkably consistent, and it gives you what it promises you. The payoff is always
sweet release of death.
Yeah,
payoff is always there. Especially that first fucking drag off
in the morning. In the morning.
You know what I loved was they had a man in our area, and it was actually my grandmother was married to a man, and he would light his cigarette. And
He's making up the story because he had to change it
up our nose when we were really young.
Louisiana's the best, isn't it?
God, it was fucking good.
I think it's got the highest smoking rate of any state. You make me nervous. I'm gonna grab another Zin. I'm gonna.
God, I almost want to do one, but I just don't know how I'll do with it.
Why don't we wait until we're about to close, because things may happen to you that you're not ready for.
Okay. It gets wild.
What the fuck?
It gets wild in a subtle way. It kind of grows on you. It's not like doing cocaine.
Okay.
It's not like firing up the pipe and you know what I
What
mean?
pipe?
Blast off.
What cocaine,
like
Tucker?
It's
That's
much
crack.
more subtle, organic. You just all of a sudden you feel good.
Yeah.
And you feel
Tucker, did you just say you smoked crack?
From your central nervous system, and then
Must
sort of
have.
going outward through all the
Regular
nerve
old
endings
Hunter
down to the tips of
Biden.
your fingers.
Bro, are you see that he's going full Joe Rogan right now with the nicotine pouch? Like talking like it's like Rogan talking about DMT? Like who is this guy?
Pulling the synapses.
Damn.
Just make connections that you hadn't before. I know I'm making it sound like ayahuasca. It's a lot more subtle than that. Once you try this, you're going to get a lot richer.
Zen? Is that their advertising campaign?
Zen is not a sin. That's the advertising campaign.
Really?
Yeah, but the truth is Zen
That's
is
a funny
powerful
campaign.
work enhancer. And also
What?
if you know what I mean.
Work
Really?
enhancer.
Like an erection, huh?
Tucker,
That is
I think you have a problem.
that is factually inaccurate. Nicotine, because it constricts your blood flow, actually impacts male virility, if you would believe it. Yeah. So certified lie, sir.
Well, sometimes maybe he's too sensitive. He comes too fast. He needs the. It makes him go longer because of that.
Wow. I don't know if I want a Zen supported wiener. I don't know.
I think you do.
You think
No, you
so?
don't.
Oh yeah, because you want people to get addicted to
Just
it.
close your eyes.
Oh, damn.
It's like that.
That's a neighbor saying, "Hey, it's real quiet over there."
Just whack it on the nightstand.
What the fuck is happening, bro?
Sorry, excuse me. Sorry.
Tuck. If you did like a tucker, a lip tucker,
yeah,
I would buy that. If that was your brand of nicotine
I'd like
pouches.
to do that because I believe in it.
Because I believe in it as he's stuffing like 4 packs in his mouth, bro.
I'd definitely get picketed, but I do it anyway.
Yeah, but someone would love it. Native Americans love nicotine, dude.
They certainly do.
God, they love it.
And I, unlike most people, I actually know some.
Do you?
Yes, I do. Because I live near a population of Native Americans
in Maine.
Oh, me too. That's what I was gonna say. Is like
and for years in there.
Cigarettes are like so cheap here, but like the cigarettes that the Onondaga sell, well, they're Seneca brand, but it's sold up there at the Onondaga. They're like awful. They're really bad.
Oh, really?
But they're so cheap. Because like New York has like insane cigarette tax. So like when I was younger, like you could go to like Burn Dairy, which is like an ice cream store, but they also have like sometimes they have gas, but even if they don't have gas, they still sell cigarettes there.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that always have the 2-for-1 packs. And we would literally be able to find change to buy a double pack of menthols, cool menthols, right? So literally cost us like $5, right? Nowadays you need over $10 to buy a pack of cigarettes in New York.
$10
because the tax is so high.
You're complaining about
more than
$10.
double. No, it's just more than doubled. That's how high the tax is.
Okay.
Right, so you cut that tax off and you're paying those old prices. It's still like more expensive now because they can afford to raise their prices because of the state's tax. So it's great because it allows to drive, because the tax is so high, it drives people to make more cash injections to these communities because they can undersell the state with their tobacco prices. And you can buy like state cigarettes there too. They're just without tax, so they're cheaper as well.
So a pack of 25, it says Winfields here, is $47.
25.
Yeah. That's just on the internet. But there are some that go up to like $80.
You probably have really high tax on them too.
Yeah,
Australia seems like it would do that.
Yeah.
Gambling though, that we love it.
Oh, Australia likes gambling too. They like to push ads saying not to do it, but there are a lot of ads promoting gambling.
New York has pretty heavy tobacco regulations.
Yeah.
Like there was a shop that like did a loophole where they basically they could sell you like extremely cheap cartons, but you would have to use the machine. You would load the machine, like put the tubes in the machine and dump the tobacco in.
Yeah.
Because legally they couldn't do it. They couldn't touch it, but you could basically buy the tobacco there and use their machine. And so like these stores were like run by the mafia literally.
Yeah.
And
so
like,
what, you buy raw tobacco and you put it in a machine that rolls it for you?
Yeah, so they have the tubes, like you'd put a box of tubes and it would, and then like they had a whole list of like how they had different, like they had Turkish and blue, green, yellow, red, you know, they had all the colors there, and you would mix certain blends together to simulate a cigarette. And then like the prices were undercutting like New York cigarettes, and it was the mob who was running it. So like this shit did not last long.
No, that's unfortunate. There's a tobacconist in a town close to me that sells artisan tobacco.
They literally, bro, the location that opened here, guess where their headquarters were? Fucking Florida. It was like how more mob connected could you get with these fucking stores, bro? Florida to New York mob connection.
You gotta love it.
People spend a lot of time with them, and the two that I know very well both love tobacco, and they have every right to.
Yeah, look, I think
bro,
let
who is paying him?
At least leave him with tobacco. You know,
100%.
That happened.
Well, they actually they gave us tobacco.
They did.
100%. Wow. Yeah, it was. I mean, there are a million different Native Americans. One of those terms. It's like I'm not sure what Passamaquoddies have to do with Hopis. Like it's pretty. You know,
and there was a lot of beef. There was a lot of beef between different Indian tribes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Some of them were
not in Europe though.
I think it's the term we use, but no, they used a lot of tribes used it in
warlike. That's the term we used. He means, you know what he means by that?
They would use it rectally.
What?
Yeah, tobacco suppositories.
He said they were warlike. That's the term we used. He was like, that's the politically correct version.
Yeah, for real. Wow. Look it up.
booth and freaking that's insane. What I can't did an Indian? Yeah, let's see. Tobacco smoke enema. Let's see.
Oh, there you go.
What the
yeah.
fuck?
Look at that. Okay, so that said it was used by imported from the New
They blow
World.
it through.
Yeah, but
Okay.
like this
And
tobacco
in-
is a
and
lot
insuf-
different than like the pipe tobacco we have
Yeah.
and stuff. Like this is literally poison. Like you
An
could not smoke this tobacco directly.
inhalation of tobacco smoke into the rectum by enema was a medical treatment employed by the European physicians.
Right.
But also it says
It probably makes you
tobacco
because
smoke was used by Western
tobacco
Middle-
like makes you shit
as
just
a-
like coffee, right? This
yeah.
probably was like great for like just clearing those motherfuckers out.
Oh, I bet. Bet it was.
tool against cold and drowsiness. And drowsiness, bitch, if I'm drowsy and you're blowing smoke in my ass, I got a wrong PPO.
Do you think this is where the expression
You
"I'm not
definitely
blowing
do, and by
smoke
the way,
up
it's
your
not
ass"
even
comes
covered
from?
now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
no, that and leeches are like completely
Yes.
ignored by the medical establishment. But
That's
yeah, it was common.
The procedure was used to treat gut pain, and attempts were often made.
I'm not making this up. You're fact checking me in real time.
No, I love this, but applying it by enema was a technique appropriated from the North American indigenous peoples.
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
There you
See?
go.
How great is
There you
Bro,
go.
isn't this like he's literally how great is that? Bro, this is the least
Let's get
racist
to the,
Tucker
break,
has
the
ever
big
been.
news, the breaking news.
Yeah.
Bro, this is you know how Tim always does these fucking parodies, right? And so now he's parodying this meta and like, bro, it's perfect.
Let's get to the big news, the breaking news.
He's
Big
probably gonna
story
copyright
last
strike
night.
us, you know?
Podcaster, live
Probably.
streamer Tim Pool suffered a case of, we believe, diarrhea or vomiting or a little bit of both live last night on his Timcast broadcast while he was talking
Live?
to Donald Trump Jr. Let's take a look and see what happened.
Dude, they
and
keep doing the sound bites too.
discuss what we think might have happened here.
Since the last time. Before that question, I'm going to do something I've never done on the show before. I'm going to leave. I'm actually feeling really, really sick, but we've got some awesome friends. I don't know if Phil or Josie or somebody wants to jump and take my seat.
Why don't you guys both come up for a minute?
I'm feeling real sick.
I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wait, back
I
this
know,
up.
we
a
just-
second.
I-
Look at what this,
Ian's having a
what's
real...
Ian freaks like the choice Ian makes here. Ian is Tim's little toady here. Watch this.
Or Josie or somebody wants to jump and take my seat.
Why don't you guys both come up for a minute?
I'm feeling real sick.
I'm going to
bro.
the bathroom.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
I'm
I know
gonna
we
go.
try.
Why is Tim? Why is
Wait, he wants to jump
Ian
on
going to
the-
the bathroom?
He doesn't want to be alone with DJ.
Yeah, and so Don actually is kind of. I think he's fairly pleasant here, but take a look.
I tried. I got the drink because I'm like, I just got punched in the gut.
Hey, Phil, you want to sit in for like 10 minutes? I'm going to go to the bathroom and listen to you guys, and then I'll come back.
What? Listen to what? You having diarrhea?
Wait, you're the one supposed to stay.
What is happening? He's the co-host. Why is he leaving? What is going on?
Ian, how about not making this about you?
Go. Hey,
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
Yeah, like, what is he gonna hold his hand while Tim goes?
Just leave. Oh yeah, maybe that's part of the deal. It's like, if I go to the bathroom, you come with me.
I'm too scared to have diarrhea alone. All right, so then keep going.
But it makes it full transparency. I'm like,
I hope I didn't piss you off so bad. Did I disgust you to the point where?
I'm enjoying it. I'm actually. I resisted for the past 15.
Look at him
minutes.
clenching his asshole.
I can't.
Try to lay down. Try to feel better.
Yeah, I'm
Definitely
gonna
go
try to
take care of yourself. We still have super chats that we're going to be getting into in about 13 minutes. But
What a lot of people are saying is that he's been on these hair growth pills.
Hair growth.
There's a chance that what's happening here is Tim is overdoing it with what is it? Roman.
Too fast, too much.
What are the Rogaine? These different supplements and pills you could take. If you do too much of that, it's going to be very hard on your stomach, and you will get diarrhea. Well, we wish Tim nothing but unpleasant bathroom experiences. Why? Why am I petty about this? He called me a pedophile. He called.
Yeah, literally could have just said "excuse me" for a second and then left.
Well, the other guy clearly was like holding in like he's like,
Mhm.
I need to go pee soon. I need to see
Yeah.
myself soon. And Tim said, I gotta leave. And he's like, wait, I'm gonna pee my pants too.
Next. Oh my god.
Yeah, NATO pissed me off today. So
while
Who?
NATO.
simultaneously defending NATO. Certainly, there are many who have tried, right? And like that's like the whole Vaush line. That's specifically his absurd line. So Vaush will come up with an absurd bit of discourse, right? Which will other people will tap into and pick up. And his line was, of course, NATO is in fact not anti-communist. NATO is not fascist. That's crazy. That's absurd. No. You see, NATO is not all those bad things. In fact, NATO is the world's largest and strongest anti-fascist organization. Right? So he did a good
I've
old
heard him
switch him and reverse
do
him.
this take before.
And basically,
I have
his
zero
line
idea who this
became
guy is,
that
but
NATO
I don't know, but he's losing
is
his mind over an obviously facetious joke. Because if it's the thing that I'm thinking of, this is like a thing that he's been doing to fuck with people.
Well, we have a video of him saying that he is pro NATO
Mm.
that we reacted to twice. I also think we also did it again. I think we did the Sam Cedar AR video twice.
Yeah, I think we did.
Anti-fascist, right? So by setting up the framing of NATO as anti-fascist, as an organization that fights against fascism, right? And not only that, it's super effective at.
Okay.
What happened?
Thanks, internet.
Your
Australian
internet-
internet, everybody.
Your internet said you're not allowed to watch this.
Yeah, YouTube said no.
Well, they're throttling you because you're using an ad blocker.
Yeah.
That's what they've been doing lately.
Right? It's
Here
so
we go.
good
We're
at fighting
back to
fascism.
regularly
It's so
scheduled
big, it's so
programming.
strong, it's got all these things. Or it's just a defensive agreement, right? Which allows you to set aside any of the direct involvement of coups, planning, CIA shit, murder, a literal shadow genocide done by NATO, right? You can
Okay.
set aside that. No, it hasn't done
CIA
any of
and
those
NATO
things.
definitely
That's
the
not
same
NATO.
things.
NATO
Uh-huh.
defensive alliance. It's just a defensive alliance,
Mhm.
right? So those
No. It's a
two
cartel on defense.
Yes.
allow his audience to reconcile the cognitive dissonance of considering themselves left wing
This guy just learned what
while
that means.
supporting imperialism, right? Because
Polka dots are
imperialism
certainly a
is
choice with this guy, huh?
so
NATO is not imperialist. Please stop.
Everything is imperialist. It's the countries inside NATO that are imperialist. It's a
Yeah, NATO
There's a
as an institution cannot be imperialist.
yes, it's the countries that are inside it. Just like how the
Yeah.
EU can't be imperialist, it's the countries
Mhm.
inside the EU.
Until they get a military and they start acting like.
Oh well,
a-
yeah. I mean, NATO technically has a military. It's a defense cartel, but it's just it's a side effect of the nation state itself.
Mhm.
I mean, alliances have existed all through times. Like, I mean,
Yes.
so many mighty confederacies. I mean, look, Cyrus the Great, right? So,
Mm.
Tomarus, she literally unites all the tribal confederacies to kill him,
Really?
and to fight him in that battle. And like, there's like a whole revenge aspect to it because these people didn't have alcohol,
Mm.
and the Persians basically gave them gifts as like amnesty, and it was a bunch of alcohol, and they waited till they were all drunk because they knew they would get drunk real easy, and they went
Yeah.
in there and they like killed all of these guys. So like Tomarus was like got real personal about that shit.
Fair enough.
Those types of things being played on her. So, and it's like one of the most epic deaths of a great king.
Yeah.
In combat, like rarely kings die in combat, you know.
by doing that, by framing it that way, you're able to reconcile those two positions. So he goes and he says, actually, NATO is a anti-fascist organization. It's pro all the good things, right? NATO fights against fascism. It's the world's largest anti-fascist organization. So that allows you to say, well, actually, it's good. If you're a leftist, you should support NATO because NATO fights fascism. That, of course, though, has the
I don't give a fuck because Twitter's not a real place.
to the premise that if NATO exists as an anti-fascist organization, well, everyone NATO's been fighting have been fascists, which means the Soviet Union which NATO was founded to fight, right? NATO is an
No.
Wait, hold on. Wait, he's going to come to the correct conclusion. Hold on.
No,
Hold on a
it was
second.
founded to fight the Warsaw
allows
Pact,
you to
not
lead you to
the
the
Soviet
inevitable
Union.
The accuracy doesn't matter. He's about to say that the Soviet Union is fascist, which is correct.
conclusion that if NATO is anti-fascist, then NATO was fighting against fascists in the Cold War, namely the Soviet Union.
Ding, ding,
Right?
ding.
So first off, that's an anti-communist line that funnels you directly into
Yeah,
fascist
Vaush
propaganda.
thinks that
Or
they were
the
they were fascist. He thinks the Soviet Union is fascist.
Well,
Okay.
okay, I should qualify. Obviously, they're not fascists. There's a big difference between what the state of the Soviet Union was and what fascism is. However, it was like 3 things removed from fascism. Add some nationalism, sprinkle some tribalism in, and bam, you've got fascism. Like, it's so easy to
It's
turn
romantic
a
anything
state.
that's romantic
Yeah.
nationalism can be fascism.
Like,
If it's romantic nationalism,
soon-
you're there.
Yeah. And like the Soviet Union could have done this immediately.
You know, like Mount
Immediately. They could have
Rushmore,
romanticized they could have romanticized the October Revolution and the Soviet revolutions and all this stuff. They could have done all of this stuff. They could have had this romantic history. And then they would have been fascist. Because that's all they were missing. Other than that, it's pretty much
But
spot on.
because they couldn't read and write, it got lost.
offensive organization line that allows you to dismiss everything that NATO has ever done.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it.
Mhm.
Like I paint the USSR that way because it annoys people. But this is the thing about saying shit like this is I know the actual facts. I know the reality. I can make these jokes because I don't think it is reality.
I'm fucking better
Most
than
of these
you.
people, exactly. I am fucking better than you. Most of these people don't understand what they're fucking talking about and think what they're talking about is the reality. They don't have a discussion, they have an opinion. Right? This is the big difference is that these
I'm
people
gonna wash your
are
beak now. Yeah, didn't think you'd be getting a free beak washing, did you, buddy?
these people are not smart. Let's just put it to that.
Hitler wasn't fucking bad because he was fucking killing
know.
Jews. Okay? That wasn't the main problem with Hitler, I think. That was like maybe 8th down the line.
Wow, he said that? Crazy.
Bloody
the
hell, Hasan.
crimes NATO has committed, right? And now I saw when Dan and Dylan got into it, he
Uh-huh.
got locked into the Yugoslavia discussion.
Uh-huh.
Right? Oh, so you think it was bad that NATO tried to stop a genocide?
It's
Obviously,
20
that's not what's
24.
being said. What's being said
This was
Huh?
probably 2023 when he filmed it. But come on, bro.
Hmm.
Can we keep it to this century?
that NATO's bombing was excessive, and they got involved, and they bombed civilians, right?
Uh-huh.
But that's
Oh, no.
probably the murkiest one.
Serbia was sniping
Oh, would you believe it?
civilians
Would
on
you
the
believe
street.
it? Warfare has gotten even more ethical since Yugoslavia,
Yeah.
even. And Yugoslavia was already pretty ethical on NATO's part. Not so much the fucking sniping civilians and like taking money to snipe civilians,
Mm-hmm.
but
Pretty cool.
the especially like not to endorse like the United States or warfare or anything like that, but the Petraeus rewrite of the strategy, the insurgent doctrine of like
Mm.
the that made it into where it's not about like using force. You have to like win them with lollipops and stuff.
Yeah. A hearts and minds stuff.
Yeah, that insurgent strategy.
Mm.
Whether it's effective or not, it's like, hey, what if we don't kill people? Is like a lot better than
Yeah.
like time to bomb Serbia.
Yeah. And like here's a crazy opinion. NATO's bombing and NATO's presence there was justified. However, obviously, killing civilians is not ideal.
But also, that's like the only really like that's the only time like NATO has like actually come together to do something. And
Yeah.
since then, because of like the power they wielded in that situation,
Mhm.
And the reason why they came together to use that power is because it was in Europe.
Yeah.
So the thing is that from there on out, it's like, oh, it's a NATO mission, but only 3 of us are here. You know? So it's like, well, it's still a defensive cartel. There's exclusive things going on there. If you're like, it's optional to like, you know, it's optional to come bomb the Houthis. Germany's like, we're in all of a sudden. It was a big thing with the EU Commission earlier. That's why the Irish dog there was like yapping on and on about how the Houthis are on a humanitarian mission.
Yeah.
So that there was an EU thing going on with it, and also there, you know, it's the most democratic year we've ever had in history.
Really?
More elections are happening this year than at any time in history.
Interesting.
So it's if democracy's dying, it's this year.
It's this year. Oh, yeah. We'll see.
That leaves too much room for argumentation. If you want to verifiably prove that NATO only leads to bad outcomes, what about Operation Gladio? What about
this century?
What about Gladio?
That was the CIA. Oh my God.
What about OG2? What about the World Anti-Communist League? What about fucking Libya? Those are stronger lines, in my opinion. But by framing it as a purely offensive agreement, you are blocking off people from considering the serious fucked
Oh
up
my
shit
God,
NATO
brother
has
Spider-Man
done
is
as a
wanting
part
to
of
saving
NATO's
me from
mandate,
crazy Iblis.
as a part of NATO's purpose. Those are either justifiable or not done by NATO, right? Gladio,
bro,
that wasn't
back away from
Civilians
the
were
mic.
killed,
You're blowing
and
it
that's
out.
what we're going to continue to try to do.
There were some NATO members involved, but that wasn't NATO. That was, I don't know, the CIA. And maybe
Like if you want to talk about
that was NATO, the CIA. Yeah, bro, it was.
if you want to talk about NATO committing a genocide, why don't we talk about Turkey? Let's see if he talks about Turkey.
maybe it didn't even happen. Maybe these communists are blowing this out of proportion. That he is framing the argument to promote these fascist ideas makes sense, because I think that's a very clear way to dismiss preemptively any criticism of NATO as an organization. And make no mistake, NATO's involvement in Libya was disastrous. Absolutely disastrous. We funded Salafi rebels who tore across the country like a fucking scourge.
Yeah, what happened before that?
Burned and destroyed infrastructure. And of course, remember,
Was this
until
2011?
NATO got involved, Colonel Gaddafi and the Libyan government had won the civil war. The rebels were corralled
Then
to
what
a
happened?
tiny bit of territory.
And now he's
And then what did he say? And then what did he say? What did he say after that?
We
Go
need
ahead.
that Hillary soundbite. He
No,
came.
let him
he
say it. Let him say
He
it. Let him say
died.
what happened. Let him say what happened.
They were losing and losing badly.
Bit.
Then what do we do?
Dar,
NATO gets
dar.
involved.
Zanga.
And
Ferd,
we blow
ferd.
up the Libyan Air Force.
Uh-huh.
We blow up their
Was it because
anti-aircraft
literally he
weapons,
was saying we're going to go
and-
street by street and kill all of them? I
Couldn't
mean,
have possibly
even Assad, like, just doesn't fuck with Idlib because he knows that it's not going to go well for him if he does. You know?
We provide cover. We bomb the Libyan Air Force, right? Or Libyan Air Force and the Libyan Army and provide cover. NATO serves
No.
as an air force
France.
for a
France. You know? Completely different fighter plane. They got the triangle one.
Ah, yes.
bunch of jihadist rebels who are pushing to Tripoli.
What's wrong with that?
Well, that's not good.
Muslims.
Right? That's not good. We are literally helping these guys who have been expelled from Libya for being
Why?
a poison to the body politic.
Oh, okay.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, no-fly zones were a part of
Remember,
it. Right?
remember when
democratic.
Gaddafi released the bunch of prisoners to try and sow chaos, and it was a bunch of people that he tortured and like created into monsters in his own institution, just like every other Arab dictator created all these Al-Qaeda level extremists, because they all have a history of torture except for one. Who's that guy? Who's the one who doesn't have a history of torture? Go ahead, Jack. Who's the one terrorist?
Bin Laden.
Correct. Bin Laden is the only one. Only one.
Fucking
Was
nailed
not
it.
tortured by an Arab government.
I was
Only
thinking, I'm like, what? Who could it possibly be?
one. Put two and two
I'm like,
together.
Bin
It's
Laden
not
was a
hard.
weeb hiding in a cave. Obviously, it was
Exactly.
him, right?
Exactly. I mean, he was a billionaire. Like, they literally manipulated him for his money.
Yeah.
The arrogance to think it's justified or something for, I don't know, a foreign government or a foreign institution, which
You
Libya
just don't
has
You
understand.
know, the rebels,
right?
like, actually,
Libya-
like, you know what happened? Do you know what
No.
happened? You
No,
have to
I
think
know
about this.
precisely zero
To
about
get a
Libya.
government to get involved with one of these things,
Mm.
right? The rebels, they're literally about to face genocide the next day, right? They sent like emissaries to France, and the deal that they gave France for like economic zone rights, like I have to look it up because it's like so insane. Just keep playing. I'll let you know when I have it.
Libya is not a member of NATO. Libya was not signatory to those treaties. For them to get involved, to claim their peacekeeping, to
Yeah,
basically
literally the
declare
UN,
war on
the
a
UN,
sovereign
the
nation,
UN's denied the mission, right?
Mm.
So like it was actually a big step over the line that France did that.
Interesting. They get censured for it?
lock down another.
Do they get punished for it or what?
No. But I mean, like, the United States took all the blame for him.
Mm.
That's what we do.
Other countries' airspace, to just lock down the airspace. And, you know, they do that by saying, oh, well, the rebels, these guys who want to fucking murder everyone, these moderate rebels, they're the legitimate government. Right? And what's Libya now? NATO destroyed Libya's air force. NATO destroyed Libya's army. NATO destroyed the Great Man-Made River, one of the greatest and most ambitious infrastructure projects in human history. NATO destroyed the Great Man-Made River, and they did that intentionally. They did that intentionally to apply economic pressure.
Okay.
All right, the same people who want the West to intervene in Iran.
Pretty sure Gaddafi was genocidal. I don't know much about Libya, but I'm pretty sure he was about to commit
He literally
genocide.
did say, "I'm going to invoke genocide tomorrow," and was going in to do it. So, so I haven't found the exact terms of the deal that they made, but right here it says the first time a NATO country has said it was providing direct military aid. Because they dumped arms into the rebels.
Interesting.
Yeah. Marks, all of them. And they keep falling for the same damn song and dance every single time. Oh, this country is bad. They do bad things. Okay. Well, I've of course removed the log from your eye first, but sure. All right. We could say there's some bad things there. Yeah, maybe that's not how I would do things. But it's not your fucking country. Concern yourself with the West first. Deal with the life and death struggle that people are facing in the West. Do not be sitting here doing justification for the intervention of the largest imperialist power on earth. Don't be saying, oh, the Iranian people need us. NATO needs to get involved. The Libyan people need us. We need to get involved. What? And make their lives worse? Kill them? Bomb them? Destroy their infrastructure? Destroy their cities? Reduce their country to fucking rubble? Oh, yeah, they'll thank us. Tripoli, to this day, is split up into feuding militias.
Yeah?
There are constant
What sides?
gunfights,
What sides are the
violence,
militia? What sides are the militia? Who's the main side on one side and who's the main side on the other? What are the countries, buddy? Go ahead. Expert, Arab Spring expert, go ahead.
Acts in Tripoli. Libya went from being the most prosperous nation in North Africa to the capital of the human slave trade.
It never was.
That doesn't seem like a good
Always in the
fucking
Congo,
outcome
bro.
to me,
Always
does
in the
it?
Congo
That
and
doesn't seem
Uganda.
like NATO only promotes good outcomes.
Is this their only example that they harp on? Like, is this the
well, he's
only
just
thing?
really upset that Gaddafi didn't get to do that genocide, I guess.
It's disgusting, right? It is just the most vile position you can take. And if you don't believe me, this man has said this directly, right? So let me pull up 2 videos real quick to show you, and we'll discuss this, because I'm gonna show you guys some of the good outcomes that the world's, quote, largest anti-fascist organization in the world has done. So first, we're going to take a look at a short little clip from the streamer who claimed that. And then we're going to look and see what NATO did to Libya.
Ukraine is a right-wing capitalist war, and while NATO is on the right side in this one conflict, it's on the wrong side in plenty of others. NATO is not even officially involved in this conflict.
Bro, you need
Can you
to
really
chill the
keep
fuck
praising
out.
NATO?
NATO's not even officially involved.
Yeah, bro, it's so funny.
Obviously, NATO is backing Ukraine. They're not officially involved. Oh, what a nice fig leaf. I'm sure they said they weren't officially involved in fucking Gladio.
It was Turkey is about to invade Rojava again. I hope this point hasn't been lost
Some
to our audience. but
were.
NATO is a
There's
military
a CIA
alliance
run
between
operation, bro. What are you talking
about?
a collection of states, every single one of which I hate. It's happening right now with Turkey.
So first, what he says,
Here we go.
right, is NATO is a defensive alliance.
It
Right?
is.
That's it. It's a defensive alliance.
in
Defensive
Rojava
cartel.
would not happen if NATO didn't exist. NATO's existence produces positive outcomes and doesn't add negative outcomes that wouldn't have already existed. Like, I would obviously prefer it if NATO was capable of keeping Turkey. Yes, it would. Turkey can only get away with it because of NATO. Wait, you seriously think that
Yes.
Turkey wouldn't be able,
Mhm.
like the Rojava and like the lawless territories to its south, if it weren't in NATO? Turkey could absolutely
Bro,
do that.
how would they
No.
build themselves up to it? How
Yeah,
would they,
there's
with
absolutely
what
no way.
weapons? With what
Yeah.
weapons? Who are they buying the weapons from? Who's building them up?
Because I guarantee that those weapons are subsidized because they're a NATO member, right?
Oh yeah.
they
Well,
get
I mean, they like
some kind of discount.
and like to think that, right? So like the United States is already stationed in that region, right? Like if another, like Turkey gets to bomb more, like the only people didn't recognize that Turkey bombed the fuck out of like the Kurdish regions of Iraq and Syria. It was only the 4 cruise missiles that came from southern Iraq. That's the only ones they cared about because that's the only one that Iran wanted to spin to make it look like they're attacking American bases when they
Yeah.
didn't. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a Turkey. There's evidence of Turkey using fucking chemical weapons being covered up. Do you think that would happen if they were fucking not a NATO member? And it doesn't matter if the allegations are true or not, right? It's the fact that they're helping them covering it up. It's the allegations like
Yeah.
in the first place being covered up.
Like, if you want to talk about the issues with NATO, talk about Turkey. That's all you need to do. You don't even need to delve into any of this history shit. Nobody gives a fuck.
I found
Everybody
a section
knows.
of Wikipedia. It just says resource control, and I was like, "Give me the fucking deal, bro."
Does not lead to bad outcomes, and in fact,
It was something like a third of like direct oil profits off the like top of the fucking EZ or something.
because
Crazy.
France and Qatar
It was an insane
had a
deal.
with the Libyan rebels to give French companies control
There you go.
over
Hey, you
25%
finally got
of
it.
Libya's oil.
See, I knew it. I was right.
Libya
I said a third.
Funded all of their social programs, their infrastructure, everything. The reason they were a country with the highest quality of life and highest standard of living in North Africa is because they used
Because they helped kill
99%
all the other leaders that were gaining power around them. Have you
Oh,
heard
and
of
also,
Liberia?
did you know that North Africa currently has an issue with ISIS? It probably also helps. Although this was probably before they hit there.
source rents from this nationalized oil.
I just want to remind people, whatever. Panera Bread, lemonade kills people.
And the rebels tell France and Qatar, we'll let you guys get a big slice of the oil. And since Libya has been overthrown, all of the oil has been stolen in the span of a few years. Libya's oil fields are fucked.
I mean, America pays for NATO, so probably. Do you know?
What?
Look at the screen.
Yeah. Yeah. The only time Turkey's been punished is when they fucking were potentially going to fly our new plane through fucking Soviet air missile systems, right? That's the only time Turkey's ever been punished by the United States. And whenever the United States does anything to put the pressure on Turkey, who does it strengthen? Iran and Russia.
And Russia, yeah.
The
Because
fact
Turkey
that
just
he
whinges and
has
goes, "Oh, I'll just buy from Russia then,"
he
and
has
then they give them whatever
complete
they want.
control over America.
Mm-hmm. It's insane.
That's why they sit there and do nothing. They just literally stand and watch fucking massacres happen and
Yeah.
do nothing.
Fucking gone. There is nothing left for the Libyan people. Everyone has been fucking robbed blind. Let me explain NATO to you dumb
Bro,
lefties who think it's bad.
Turkey could have
Stop
kept doing this. by the way.
yelling.
Oh, Turkey could have kept doing this.
Yeah, I think we should have kept troops there. But
Bro,
even if Turkey
look at he's
wasn't
on
in
so much
NATO, we wouldn't
Adderall.
have,
He's
like,
fucking rubbing his face and shit, bro. Lay
lost
off
war
the
with
Adderall,
United
man.
States by invading Rojava while we had troops there. NATO
Do you really think we would have stopped them?
is just a military
We
alliance.
did that.
As long as
We
NATO
did though. That's what the troops were there for, because that's the only thing you can do is you can be a body block, right?
Yes.
So that's what happened.
And now where are they bombing? Not where the US soldiers are. Funny
Yeah.
that.
nation
Or
states
Russia.
exist.
Don't forget.
Yeah.
Don't forget Russia's also complacent in this.
Mm-hmm.
They could easily stand up to Turkey.
Yeah.
Or not Turkey. Yeah, no, yeah. They could easily stand up. But you know why they don't?
Because they've got interest in Syria and this
Yeah,
helps
well,
them.
even though the Kurds have already accepted that they they're not saying that they're fighting against Assad. They're just like, this is our shit. Assad can do whatever they want, right? So they're technically aligned with Assad. They're fighting Assad directly too, right? So because they're still fighting Assad, it's benefiting Russia to kill them too.
Yeah.
Turkey's doing Russia a favor by killing them.
Yep.
Here we go. It's just a
Both Israel and Iran bombed Aleppo today.
NATO is
Really?
just a military alliance. Oh, how
Iran
dare
also
you say
bombed
NATO has a deeper
Idlib.
role in any of these conflicts? How could you say such a thing? NATO is simply
What
a
do we need
military
them for?
alliance. That's
There's
all
no when they made NATO, they didn't fucking put in a safety, because NATO was never supposed to expand in the 90s, right? That was never supposed to happen. Poland like basically broke America's arm, like as America was going, no, Poland, you can't come in. Poland like is just like, fuck you. They left the door open for their friends, right? And their friends came in, the freeloaders, right? So there's no process to remove somebody from NATO. They have to voluntarily withdraw. So why would
Interesting.
Turkey do that?
Yeah. That's fair. Why would they? It's such a good deal for them.
And look at what they've been. Look at the influence that they've had, right?
Mhm.
There's been not only because like you know about the assassinations in France, right?
No.
So you know Sarah, she was like one of the like founders of the PKK, right? She's one of the girls you always see next to Apo,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
So her and like 3 other people Turkey killed, right? And like 20 years on the anniversary, they killed him again in Paris,
Oh my
right?
God.
So that's why the French Kurds, where it's like twa, you know, they're talking about
Yeah.
3 and 3, and it's like this is not normal, you know. They're yelling at France, saying you're fucking complacent in this. You know exactly what's going on here.
Yeah.
France isn't going to do shit because it's a NATO member. A NATO member can do terrorist attacks on other NATO members. Doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, pretty cool.
And then you look at Turkey's influence with fucking Sweden, right? Literally, like the one of the only countries where the Kurds were safe.
Yeah.
It's now
Finland.
gone. Yeah. Well, no. Sweden, to get Finland in, Sweden had to basically betray the Kurds in their own country for Turkey.
It was Finland.
No. Sweden had to also comply for Turkey.
No, I
to
know,
vote in.
but Sweden got in first. I'm saying that Finland fought and tried to save it.
Oh yeah, but
and
they don't
Turkey wouldn't
have
relent.
Kurds like Sweden does.
No. I'm pretty sure it's Finland. I'm pretty sure Finland is the big one. You
No,
might want to double check
it's
that.
Sweden. It was Sweden. But like one of the things in there is like Turkey basically could just extradite anyone they wanted. Names on a list, extradited whoever they wanted. And it's like, it's not even that. It's the strengthening of Iran. Also, what do we care? What about Libya, bro? Like, why has Libya not been able to like turn around and create a successful government?
Yeah, that's the question.
Like, I don't even give a fuck if Haftar wins, right? I don't care. Let the Russian side win. I don't give a fuck.
They do. They're just alliance-leanly militarily.
Exist, military alliances will be formed between those states in accordance with the geopolitical interests of those states. That's like a fact of life. You can't.
So, once again, this is another rhetorical trick. So, yes, that's true. Nation
Finland
states will form
has
defensive alliances. That happens.
almost the least
That's
amount
in the interest of nation states to cooperate within certain frameworks. Right, that's going to happen. NATO is a military alliance headed by the largest imperialist power on Earth, including many other imperialist or formerly imperialist countries.
I could have sworn it was Finland. I don't know why I thought it was Finland. I swear it was Finland that was holding out.
So
That's
it's Germany, Azerbaijan, France, Sweden are the top ones, and Netherlands as well. Sweden and Netherlands are the same.
Okay.
Serve the interests of imperialism. You cannot say NATO is just another defensive alliance. It is the largest, the best funded, the most vicious, and unlike other
The
military
most
alliances,
vicious.
NATO constantly sticks their nose where it doesn't belong.
Argue against that. You can argue against
Bro,
the policies of NATO or the number of people.
Dude, are we
in NATO or
counting
which
terrorist
countries are a part
alliances
of-
in these military alliances?
I would.
Definitely not the most vicious then.
Whatever, but like.
So he's saying, oh, you can argue about the structure and form of NATO and whether or not that's optimal, but you cannot
Stop
argue
yelling.
against NATO existing being bad.
Can't oppose the concept of military alliances. You might as well oppose like
Another trick, right? Nobody is
Another trick. He's tricking me. He's tricking me. What a loser.
It's just like you when you get heated. You're just fucking talking every 3 seconds because everything is pissing you off. Hilarious.
Posey is the existence of a military alliance to serve imperialist hegemony, a military alliance spearheaded by the United States. And make no mistake, people will say, oh, it's a defensive alliance between all these states, and they all have a seat, and they all have a say. At the end of the day, the U.S. provides most of the funding. The U.S. has the seat at the head of the table. And what we say, that usually fucking goes.
like the military alliances
Yeah.
are a part of states existing at all. You know,
That's
like,
why the
we're
Kurds had to
talking
get expelled
very
from those
theoretical
countries then,
post-state
right?
I mean, what if we really talk about what NATO is, which is American babysitting?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they're at the head, because if they let one of the Europeans sit at the head, the first thing they do is wage war on another country.
Look, France, you let them off the leash for 1 second, they destroy Libya and steal all their oil.
Communist, anarchist, like worldwide. And if you really
What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about?
everything that exists, and your commentary is worthless, and I don't care about you. Right?
See, what a rhetorical trick. All right. So if you oppose NATO, yeah, it's a defensive alliance, right? A military alliance formed at the end of World War II to fight the Cold War. A military alliance formed explicitly for the purpose of anti-communism. A military alliance formed explicitly for anti-communism. A military alliance that participated in the shadow massacre of...
It was against the Warsaw Pact.
But what were those?
Don't know.
And then there,
NATO isn't.
but you can't.
NATO isn't
you
capitalist.
literally-
The Warsaw Pact isn't
And
communist.
because you would be like, well, they didn't fight Yugoslavia, and then they really blow a smokestack because they're like, they're the ones did their fault. They destroyed Yugoslavia.
Communists, 5-6 million communists worldwide that participated Operation Gladio, that assassinated, carried
Bro,
out terror attacks,
that's
gave
like
weapons to fascists
1948.
all over Europe. An
You
organization
could not
that
pick an older
destroyed
operation
Libya.
to be
An
pressed
organization
about,
that
bro.
sticks their
That's
nose
like
everywhere
you
it's
have
not
Salvador Allende with Second Thought has nothing on that shit, bro. I swear to God that happened.
That's a deep cut.
I swear to God that happened in like 1948.
doesn't belong in order to benefit the interest of the imperialist powers. If you oppose
1952.
that, then you were just
53 to
opposing
58.
Look, no.
concept
Okay, I was so close, right? So Operation Gladiator was a code name for the clandestine stay-behind operation of the armed resistance that were organized by the Western Union, right? That's a different treaty alliance, founded in 1948.
It's probably a precursor to the
and
EU.
subsequently NATO founded in 1949.
Yeah, NATO was 49.
So literally it's like the first it was even like happening before them, before NATO was even founded technically.
Cooperate. You're opposing the basic concept that states cooperate. And if you oppose the idea that states cooperate, then you oppose the real reality of how things actually exist, and your critique is worthless.
Dude.
No, the critique is not worthless. It's a valid critique. That's exactly the critique.
You know how wild it is, how like look at what just being afraid of terrorism did, right? Imagine how afraid they were of communism. Like the shit this CIA did, especially when they were founded. Like
CIA's done some wild
but
shit.
are we gonna act like the fucking Soviet Union was like somehow better or any different? Like they're at least
They were more
just as
imperialist
twisted.
than America.
They're at least both just as twisted with the experiment shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the Tuskegee experiments and shit in America on black people were fucking wild.
Just like
and then the Soviets are dropping nuclear bombs on Kazakhstan. Like the fuck?
Torturing people to try and make mind control victims and stuff. When all you need to control people's mind is just fucking like
consumerism.
This guy, you need to. This guy is mind controlled.
What a rhetorical trick. Wow, he really sets up and assumes 10 bad faith assumptions and speed runs them like he's fucking Sonic.
Congratulations, you're
Jesus Christ.
This guy gives me David.
Bro, this guy is making
vibes.
me cringe more than the people in the Disco Elysium game who like literally every character I was like, oh my god, there's the only funny one was the kid who sounds like you.
He doesn't sound like me. Fuck you.
He does sound like you, and he throws rocks at corpses.
He's fucking Irish.
He's my favorite character.
Isn't he Irish?
Everyone agrees he sounds just like you.
Well, everybody's wrong.
The only character that didn't annoy me was like this rich lady, but she was just like had way too much to say, and it was more boring than annoying. But like every character, I'm like, bro, you are so cringe.
I don't know how you're still playing the game.
I mean, if I didn't have somebody helping me, I wouldn't have any idea what I was doing.
Yeah, it's like me with fucking walking simulator. What's it called? Fallout.
I mean, if we get enough subscribers and stuff, we'll do more stuff on the gaming channel. I uploaded that part of the Disco Elysium thing.
Yeah, I saw that. Have you linked the gaming channel anywhere on here?
It might be in our profile. I'm not sure.
If you want to watch that, we have some me playing Fallout New Vegas for the first time. I give that bitch a dress. She loved that dress.
I don't think that part is even out. No,
I don't think
it wasn't getting clicks. So like I was dedicated stuff to like actual work stuff.
Yeah.
Shit just picked up too much, right? I didn't have time to like edit that stuff.
Yeah. But we've got a bunch of stuff, like different stuff, sort of more media, multimedia sort of stuff, which I think is the direction we should go, is like more of a multimedia thing.
Okay.
But I just love yelling. Okay.
Nobody's saying that.
So
one more video. Which one do we want?
What does NATO allow for?
I'm not sure if there's. I mean, this video's long, isn't it?
It's got like 10 minutes left. I'm not
Bro,
sure
he hasn't even listened to anything Vaush has said.
NATO and what things can't happen because of NATO.
Okay, so I'll give you some examples. For example, there were numerous Nazi leaders, including the heads of the Wehrmacht, High Command, and other people, including SS officers, who were spared the noose at Nuremberg because their expertise in the European theater would prove very useful to NATO leaders should the Cold War turn hot. Their leadership would be very useful.
Wait until you learn about Saddam.
Numerous Nazis were spared the noose and reintegrated back into West German society. Many of those Nazis held positions of, for example, the head of Allied ground forces for NATO. Nazis were spared. They were reintegrated. They were given good jobs, and they were given power over this organization.
Power, bro. Can you yell louder into your mic? God
Was
damn.
involved in
Blowing on my
orchestrating
eardrums.
Operation Gladio. This massive
Oh my god,
state-wide
bro is
network
literally
feeding
stuck
weapons,
on
arms, and
1950.
training to fascist holdovers
Oh
in
my
every
god.
single fucking European country.
Oh my
It was
god,
a
bro.
constituent part of NATO's foundation, of its goal of anti-communism.
You
for
have
these
you know
states
he's got
to
a
create
terrible
parallel
relationship
shadow
with his
state
dad.
of fucking fascists to prepare for what would happen if communists invaded or communists won an election, to make sure
This guy is completely ignoring history to make this argument.
I can't. I don't know what
Considering-
he's saying. I can't even hear him because the mic's blown out every 2 seconds.
Considering that the Soviet Union was beating their chest and banging their war drum the entire time, pretty sure they had a reasonable reason to not,
I
wanna
don't
have to
care.
fight them.
It was 1950. I could give less of a shit.
Yeah, 70 years ago. Who cares?
Democracy could end this year.
never
Okay.
fucking happen. And finally, Libya. Libya, you dumb fuck.
Well, here's the thing, guys. Most of the countries that are in NATO
He's a guy.
have already
He's a
been
guy.
incredibly
He's a
powerful.
guy.
You think NATO is just this free association of these countries that is not anti-communist by nature, that is just another defensive alliance, right? Well, do you think if your nation is communist, they're going to let you join NATO?
Militarily advanced countries that can't be invaded without NATO. Every country that has nukes.
Okay, so now he's saying, oh, they don't even. So first he said it's a defensive alliance that serves good interests, but then he said NATO doesn't even matter because the countries that are in NATO are so militarily advanced.
There. Now it's at the bottom of
that
the channel.
they would be fine and protected against invasion without NATO? Well, make up your mind, buddy. Is NATO a necessary military alliance that does nothing other than defends and protects against the Russian aggression or whatever? Or is it superfluous to the point that it barely bears thinking about?
Can't really be invaded to begin with. And many of the countries that are in NATO that don't have nukes aren't really in positions to have been invaded anyway, except for one particular group. What group of countries?
So NATO exists out of the
Bro,
benevolence.
just move the mic away from your mouth if you're gonna yell.
Yeah.
NATO exists out of the benevolence of the states of the Western imperial states to protect the poor little Baltic country.
You know what's really funny though is like if NATO had never formed, the Warsaw Pact would have done exactly what NATO did,
What, absorbed other countries?
just expanded.
Well, NATO literally tried not to expand.
Yeah, people begged them to come in.
Biden was for it though.
In NATO might have been invaded if they weren't in NATO. Eastern Europe, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Poland, and
that's right, Bruxo.
It would have been Ukraine, wouldn't it? Countries that used to be a part of the Soviet Union. Because Russia has demonstrated it is fully willing to just conquer these countries, the existence of NATO allows for
He's so
these
pressed.
countries protected millions of millions of people protected from fascist invasion by Article 5. I think.
Okay, so now he is framing the
He's
enemies
so
of the United
wrong.
States as-
Both of these people are so wrong. It's so funny how wrong both of them are because it has nothing to do with Article 5. It has to be with you can't. That's one way to like get out of NATO is if you go to war with a NATO member.
Yeah.
That's why Poland didn't join NATO because of like, after the Soviet Union fell and shit. They joined it because they didn't want to get invaded again by another country. These countries were fighting each other, so they joined to protect their own borders. NATO is a babysitting operation for the most violent continent throughout history.
Okay, can we move on?
Sure. I don't know if there's anything that's like not like a.
No, like we'll end on a less depressing, shitty video.
Yeah, sure. Whatever's in there.
We'll do the Jubilee one.
I think that one might be long. Yeah. Oh no, it's probably like 20 minutes.
27 minutes or so. We could probably
As a liberal, I sometimes see
run
y'all
through it.
sticking really hard together, and y'all are like, no matter what, we're gonna vote red.
I hate these videos so much, bro.
I completely disagree. I fucking love them. This is like one of the Jubilee videos, and like that sort of style of content is so trashy that I love it. But I'll never watch it on TV, right? But I'll never actually go to Jubilee to watch it. I'll watch people who make fun of it. So it's that's how I absorb this content, and the stuff that I watch is great because I'm only watching the cringest of stuff.
The far left and the far right are equally problematic.
Could be louder.
3, 2, 1.
I've actually seen both sides. I'm a gay conservative, and I have seen the far
None of
right
these are real
chastise-
people, okay? They're never real people. This is like the modern. This is literally like the MTV dating show, Date My Mom shit. Like that's all this content is.
You're gay? No.
Bro, this dude's name is Mario, and look at how he's dressed.
What?
You could not be named Mario, dressed like Mario.
me for my
No
sexuality.
one up here is going to
and
call
I've
you
seen the
Donald
far
Trump
left
anymore.
chastise me
We're going
for
to call you
being
Donald
conservative.
Duck.
I've had my own address put on the freeway here in Los Angeles because they feel that my voice should not be out there. So I see the two sides actively doing harm to those of us in the middle who have a really rational voice and want to express ourselves in a safe way.
I appreciate the like anecdotal experience that you had, but like I think
if this person came up with conservative, I would have been shook.
Also, like, are they also like? I'm assuming just on the look that this is like not a trans person; it's a drag queen. So are they angel outside of drag too? Do they flip? Maybe they're conservative out of drag. You know?
Maybe I don't know because I don't. It's not as flashy
not
as
like
drag
that
would be.
Change inside the makeup, you know, I'm just fucking around, you know.
But it's not as flashy as drag usually is, so I'm very confused.
Yeah, well, maybe she does the stuff that's appropriate for children.
Maybe.
My issue saying that like liberals are more problematic, like I think everyone is.
What I talk about in my anecdotal incident is where I have never had a
Anecdotal
conservative physically
incident.
attack
Uh-oh.
me. Physically
Somebody
attack me on the street.
physically attack
I
me.
am or who I am. They may verbally attack me. I've got that from the left too. But the
Bro,
left
you know
has
how
physical
often,
attacks on my
like, bro,
physical-
I've been to like parties where like
Mm.
I just say one thing and like people are talking about how they're gonna beat the shit out of me just because like immediately they're like already insecure because like I'm not like walking up to them like I guess how guys are supposed to walk up to guys.
Sure, okay.
Like okay.
Whatever that means.
Dude, there's been like so many places where it's like constantly hostile. Like, oh no.
That's so weird. It's like fucking get over yourself. Anytime people are fucking angry and like arguing at parties, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's not no, they're hostile towards like their like perception of my sexuality. That's the issue.
Okay. Yeah.
So long, Bowser. Being out on the streets because I'm expressing myself.
So I'm
multiple.
The opposite for myself. So like, you know, like experiences.
We have to keep our country gay,
like,
Pippin.
you know, like your experience, completely valid, but just say
it's completely
liberals are,
valid.
like,
I just
you
don't
know,
care.
Worse.
Well,
Like,
it's not that there's no one worse, which is why I didn't move to strongly agree. My anecdotal experience tells me that there is a group of people on both sides that will do active harm to someone who steps out of their expected.
Didn't Trump say something like that?
Narrative.
I feel like for when we talk about political extremes, I think one,
It's
there is
destiny.
a lack of desire for bipartisanship. The second thing is there's kind of like
He's not even using his real name. Everyone here is imaginary.
I don't give a fuck because Twitter's not a real
People
place.
seem to have like very fun activities in terms of just completely making stuff up regarding these.
We
two things.
have
and then the third
juice.
thing is the demonization of political opponents, where people on the far left and the far right engage in this idea that the people on the opposite side of the aisle, they're not just different or have different ideas. They actually hate the country. They want to destroy us.
You know, people get labeled as extremists just for being even pretty centrist, based on our small conversation we've already had.
Okay, let's go to
There
the
should not
next
be
one.
limitations on free speech.
No boy.
3, 2, 1.
This will be an interesting one.
Okay, I hate this prompt. Because we all agree that like direct calls to violence are not acceptable. I imagine
Right.
we all agree like you can't scream fire in a theater. Otherwise, I think that like
I
there should be
fucking
notices on college campuses.
hate that example. Yes, you fucking can.
No, you can't. No, that's literally the example in the fucking Supreme Court case.
Oh, is it actually?
Yes. So the reason why we say that is because it literally comes from a Supreme Court case. The guy
That's
was
so
testing
funny.
the limits of the First Amendment. He was
Okay.
literally going in to challenge the First Amendment, and like
Yeah.
he like basically was shouting that, and like basically started a stampede, and people got injured. So he said that I can't be at fault. It's my free speech, but he actively caused harm to people with his speech, just like
See,
how
but
Donald Trump actively caused harm by using his speech.
Yeah, but this is my contest with this kind of thing. Is it's like, okay, there's a difference between yelling fire and yelling fire.
Well,
right? Like
it was
it's
it was
in a
determined that
way.
he was liable for the negligence.
No, I understand. I'm saying that tonality matters because yelling fire.
Yes, but when
is
we
not the
say
same
that,
as yelling
we're referencing a
fire.
Supreme Court case.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
That's where
I'm
the
just-
expression is coming from. They're referring
Okay.
to a specific Supreme Court case.
I know, I'm just challenging this
because it's
idea.
one of the only times free speech has actually come to the Supreme Court and been limited.
Interesting. What was the other times?
I don't remember because this is the
Hmm.
main one they drive home in civics class and shit.
Yeah, because I did learn about this. I do remember actually learning about this. I just forgot.
But you can't there's part of the stuff is like with recordings and stuff, right?
Mm.
So like if I say, like, if I describe to you all the items we're going to get for a robbery,
Mm-hmm.
completely fine. It doesn't like incriminate somebody who like bought those items, right, for the robbery. But if I tell you we're doing it for a robbery, then it's incriminating.
Hmm.
So it's stuff like that.
Okay. 'Cause I literally still
Your
have
hate
a.
speech is totally fine. We're not Canada. You can literally. That's the thing. Is like it should be like I think you should legalize these hands. You know.
Doing their ideology, you should be allowed to say basically whatever rhetoric you want, as long as it's not like violating the terms of service of a platform. I do agree that vaccine misinformation is harmful. I do agree that misinformation relating to conspiracy theories is harmful, but I don't think the proper way to go about addressing that is to lock it all down and to ban it. I like the steps that YouTube has taken, where they might put a note under the video, or what Twitter, or the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, called X, is taking, where they have like
There's a good example of the Supreme Court, by the way.
Uh-huh.
YouTube and these social media platforms were taken to court because somebody whose kid died in the ISIS attack, I think the nightclub ISIS attack, said that this terrorist organization is being advertised on YouTube that like killed her son.
Mm.
Right? So they like actually like took these companies to court, and so like I don't know the exact specifics of the Supreme Court case, but one of the reasons why like the adpocalypse thing happened was because of ISIS. Actually, the reason why the internet is like so patrolled as it is right now is because ISIS knew how to use the internet.
That you cannot do, even with free speech being present. And I'm not sure how you
I know
define
her
hate speech.
face.
So with some of the hate speech laws that are coming about, I think those need to be reevaluated and maybe rolled back, because even people who we disagree with or we don't like or we view as evil should still be able to espouse their beliefs.
Right. For example, right now, what's going on with students on campus, I don't agree that Congress and other individuals should limit what students are talking about.
Yeah, that's another thing. Is that fucking the lobby that says like if you support like certain things like like BDS and stuff, you can't be on certain college campuses and shit. Like from the Israeli lobby, literally controlling and limiting our First Amendment rights.
Yeah,
wild.
Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm. Especially on college campuses too.
Yeah,
where
the most insane place.
Where speech should be the most like protected.
Yeah.
Crime, but you can call somebody whatever you want, and it's not. Yeah.
I often criticize my own political party. 3, 2, 1.
I see that you're on the disagree side.
I am.
Like,
I'm sitting here
what
listening.
brought you there?
What brought me here is because I tend to be a more, I guess you could say, traditional conservative in that I don't like to speak ill of my own party. I just don't. For me to go out and air their dirty laundry out where everyone can see it is only
Tim
going to put a
Cedar
blemish on
says
them.
this
And I always
thing.
want to put my best foot forward, and I always want to put my
I don't
always
remember his exact wording, but it's basically like voting isn't about you. Like
Yeah.
voting is not a form of self-expression; it's a tool, is what he says. That's what it is. It's literally not a form of self-expression. Like you do not matter. It's the vote that matters. It's the tool
Yeah.
that matters. You don't matter at all.
No, not really. Not in the greater scheme of things.
That's his argument for vote blue no matter who, you know?
Yeah.
But I will point out the instances where I disagree with them privately so that they can make the necessary changes.
I've got to ask. I'm so sorry because you said you were a Trump supporter, right?
Yes.
This must be like the thing you hate the most about him, right? Because isn't Trump like the most
But
like
here-
anti-Republican attacks?
But here's
on
the
party?
thing. I come from a community where we found our power in local government. I've separated myself from this idea that I'm going to speak poorly
Mormon.
about Trump because I want him to put his best foot forward.
I wish more liberals did that, to be honest. I think a lot of liberals, we tend to bash our party on the social media platforms, or we protest a lot, right? But I think when it comes to going to these city council meetings, going to Congress, writing our elected officials, we tend to fall back on that, and we rely on social media, and we rely on demonstrations.
There is a lot of infighting on the right that I think makes us look
That's
very bad.
bullshit, man.
You think
There's
liberals-
no way conservatives write to their fucking congressman more than liberals.
You think not only that,
you think
showing
a Democrat Karen doesn't write a letter a day to her fucking
Bro,
congressman?
the entire Floyd campaign, I was like literally writing letters every day. Like I was like, I was like doing it like on like different things and behalf of certain things and like doing different lobbying and pressuring and stuff.
Yeah.
And one thing about liberals, you guys really do stick together and you actually get work done, even when I don't agree with it, where it's the right. With people like us, I feel like they see gay Republicans or conservatives as useful idiots, to be honest. That's why I kind of take issue with saying that.
Yeah, they literally hate
You
you.
don't try to cast a wide net to bring new people over. whereas
What are you
liberals
gay?
do.
From my perspective as a liberal, I sometimes see y'all sticking really hard
Yeah,
together.
same.
And y'all are like, no matter what, we're gonna vote red. Like y'all seem very unified, even though you're talking about like
This is very true. They are. But it doesn't
It
beat
depends on where you are.
Yeah, Florida definitely, but it doesn't beat the anti-gun mum groups. They are rabid.
Also,
I just-
a majority of the Jewish lobby is Democrat. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
And like
Um,
in New York City, a huge influence. I mean, look at Andrew Yang. Like I remember like people were getting real pissy with him because he was running for mayor or something. But like he literally like needed the Jewish vote, so he was like being all Zionist as hell. And then that's when people realized that Andrew Yang was a fraud.
Yeah, he's just a fair weather politician. Whichever way the wind blows. I was gonna say something, but I forgot. Doesn't matter.
public, like there's like
Don't care. Next
Any
one.
issue. 3, 2.
What did it say? Violence?
Violence should never be.
Violence should never be the answer to any issue.
The
I
thing is,
agree.
if they're defining violence as violence against fucking property, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I feel like this.
Also,
question...
cops also don't count. They're I pay taxes. That cop's my property. That includes guns.
This is a very interesting question because I don't disagree because violence is sometimes necessary. You should never seek violence, but you should be ready to fight. Like that should be
Well, I mean,
how
like,
everyone should be.
Frederick Douglass,
Mm.
right? That's like his thing.
Yeah, I mean, you think about sayings like "live by the sword and die by the sword." It's exactly right. You seek violence, you're going to find violence, and you're probably going to die by violence. So if you don't seek it, but you're ready for it, yeah, it seems to be the practical solution, and that answer
Tactical
can't be
violence.
answered. Tactical violence.
Yeah, I pay taxes. That's my gun. Correct.
I'm gonna have to
Correct.
remind my cop friend of that.
The video, the song.
Yeah,
Reach
it's
for
my
a
gun.
cop's gun.
Be the answer to any issue. 3, 2, 1.
Hey there, it's Amala.
Hey, I'm Destiny.
Do you want to be in a Jubilee? Now let's get.
Two reasons. One is because we don't want to condition people to feel like violence is the answer to political disagreements. And then two, we want everybody to be able to utilize some form of protest against the government. And when
Do you
we
see
endorse
there was a
violence, we're not
Greg
saying it's
Abbott
okay for
thing, and
Mm.
somebody standed up to protest for Palestine, and the crowd started beating the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Oh, poor baby.
Really?
Yeah,
Fucking
it's
hell.
funny because that doesn't happen at any Democrat rallies, you know?
No.
Or even people we disagree with use violence, and that can be really scary for a lot of different reasons. But I would say
Spooky.
in general, in 99%, where we're at today in the United States, we are not at the level where violence is necessary to enact any kind of political change.
Are you seeing this?
What? What? His facial
His
hair?
beard is uneven.
Oh. I
Like
mean,
this is like chin strap neck beard, and this is more like where mine is.
Oh,
a
well,
little bit lower.
maybe he's compensating.
Weird.
I wouldn't say that's entirely true. I mean, there's a certain level of violence happening to marginalized communities. That doesn't mean I necessarily like agree with violence when it comes to the Palestinian rebellion that's been happening in Israel. I don't agree with Hamas killing people. Like that's terrorism. But at the
I
same
wouldn't.
time, the
What do you
violent
mean by
uprisings
rebellion?
that have happened, most of which have actually
It's-
been
it's
peaceful,
a-
but still there is some sort of violence happening.
It's just, they're just like, is it a rebellion if you're like defending yourself from genocide?
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I guess
because
maybe
they've been
because they instigated it. It's
Mm.
just weird to phrase it that way.
For so long. Like back in the Holocaust, people think that Jews went peacefully into the concentration camps. No, we were violent. We had uprisings. We fought back. At a certain point, there is violence in fighting back to oppression.
I agree because I don't strongly agree with it because I'm all about nonviolence in my life. What I practice, my spirituality, I'm all about nonviolence. But at the same time, as I organize and I'm on the ground and I'm at protests and I'm at demonstrations, by any means necessary means, right, quoting Malcolm X, that you have to have some form of disagreement with the state that's not listening to your needs as people, as free people. And sometimes that takes, rebellious actions like burning down banks. Or
That's
burning
not
down
violence. I told
institutions
you.
that are not listening
They're
to
going to
you.
classify
But
fucking
as Black
fire
people
as
in
violence,
America,
bro.
if we're only demanding liberty and justice, we're not asking for revenge. We're just asking for equality. And sometimes I think the state looks at us being a resistant as violence.
Sure. Yeah. The reason I came over here, I was thinking more internationally. If a country's met
That's
with
what I
violence,
was
there's
thinking.
really
I was
only
like,
one
what
way to
are we
respond
talking
to
about?
that.
War here?
Yeah. Well, it could be taken a bunch of different
Because
ways.
that's the thing is like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's much violence in America as far as like that type of shit goes. More like
Not
drug
really.
violence,
Mm.
spousal
I
homicide.
don't think Israel could go to Hamas and say,
Yeah.
hey, guys, can you just not do that again? When Hamas is already saying that they plan more attacks that they had on October 7th. So I think Israel has the right to defend themselves with violence.
Wrong.
There's a couple of key things to keep in mind here. So one is when we talk about like violence in response to political ideas, we have to be
Predator
really careful that we
drones.
don't redefine violence to mean literally anything that we don't like. Because I've noticed that like people are doing these things where like there is a white supremacist violence against Black communities because of the way money is distributed with our taxes, and people will take that very academic form of violence, which is, and it's okay I think to have this analysis, but they'll take that academic
hate
form of
this
violence
guy
and they'll
so
say
much.
now we can kill police officers and burn down buildings, or now we can engage in arson or destroy neighborhoods.
My side. is
Yeah, taxes pay for those cops. So
Yeah, police are property.
they are
You can do
police
whatever you want
buildings.
with
They are police buildings.
them.
Or fucking government buildings.
Watch all
They're
the
not human
conservatives go to
beings.
super
They're
agree.
government buildings. Not human beings.
3, 2, 1.
Yep.
What was
Sounds
this
right.
now?
Media is controlled by the left.
We don't need to hear them talk about this.
The American dream is still alive. All of you better fucking hit
Dream
agree
is still
or
alive.
disagree.
3,
Bro, the American dream was fake. It
Yeah.
was literally fake.
It was
What
a capitalist
this whole
lie.
thing about a wife and he just needs to go work a job and he has got a car and they're gonna go home and they're one big happy smiling family. Fuck off. Fuck off. Not a thing. Didn't happen. Bro's gotta never surrender. Bro,
Dude,
this is
he's
my
got his
favorite shirt.
Trump's mug
It's my
shot.
favorite shirt because they didn't think putting this together. The caption,
Uh-huh.
I think Trump sold this too. It says never surrender. He's
Yeah.
surrendering in the photo.
I feel like when upward class mobility
Maybe is he the conservative one?
He's wearing a never surrender Trump shirt, so
Okay, because I would totally wear this ironically.
you know what I would do? You know what I would do? I would put on never forget.
That's a good one too. But I would totally wear that unironically because anytime someone's like pro Trump, he's like, yeah, never surrender. I'm like, he's literally surrendering.
is so hard as it is right now. The American dream
Okay.
is it's either dead or it's on life
Um,
support because it's just
I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm not sure if it was Kasich or someone else. Like, I want to say it was Ted Cruz, but it's so funny because they're not just like, they're literally like, they're like in school and they're like specializing in reading the Torah specifically, right? And he's like, you know, I like the Bible because of so and so and so. Did you know that? They're looking at him like, yeah. Like, we literally like have to read the entire thing every day, bro. It was just really funny. He was, yeah, Talmud scholars. He was so out of touch. It was so funny. He's like, "Oh, you, that's what do you study?" They're like, and they were like, because they're speaking a different language, and so they go, they study the Bible, and he's like, "Oh, I love the Bible."
it's damn near impossible for people to climb out of poverty. Everyone thinks that they're going to be the next Jeff Bezos. You're closer to being on Skid Row than you're ever going to be to Jeff Bezos.
I think the American dream has become the American memory. Like, I was thinking about this just outside of politics.
Always,
like, you know,
always
how a lot of people have
was.
nostalgia for like the past and stuff. It made me look at America, and it's like, we're not going to get back the America that we were post 9/11 when everybody was a little more unified outside of the patriot.
9/11?
We're not going to get the America.
Hey,
The American dream was the 50s, my friend.
Here's a crazy story. You know the stereotype of black people not being able to swim?
Yes.
Do you know why that is?
I do, but I cannot remember right now.
It's because of the distribution of pools. It's
Okay.
segregation by design, right?
Right, because they were segregated from the pools, right? They had
Yes.
certain
So
hours.
because of that, there's just without it, there's always more accidents when there's bodies of water, right?
Mhm.
And so a culture eventually forms where, you know how moms are. You know, they're always saying,
Yeah.
"Stay away from that. Stay away from this." You know.
Yeah. Always.
Because
You can't
normally,
touch anything.
the parent is like teaches a child like the fundamentals of swimming. You know, just like you teach them to ride a bike.
Yeah.
So, the American dream only existed for a specific type of white person,
Yeah.
and they weren't Irish or Italian either.
No.
Where all
Protestants.
races could get along without people saying, "Oh, you're culturally appropriating, you're microaggressions," you know, all that little stuff that keeps us divided. I don't think we'll get back to the America that we grew up in. I honestly don't. I want to be optimistic, but it's hard.
What do you mean?
I just don't know that that's the necessary
Bro,
point of the American dream. I think it shifts.
The America
and it
you grew
changes,
up
and it
in.
takes
When
on the
did you
context
grow
of-
up? Post
He looked
was
like
it
he was very young. It looked
Bro,
probably post 9/11.
post 9/11? It's the same America.
It's the same, yeah.
Hasn't fucking changed.
Although post COVID is probably a new
Sure.
era.
But it's
like
still
we could probably think about it like that. That was a
the
once in a
60s,
generation.
70s, and 80s like all blend together. Like nothing
Yeah.
really fucking happened.
Mhm.
You know, it was all the civil rights struggle through there.
Yeah.
That's even starts in the
time
50s
that it's
too.
in, where we had that sort of old school
20s.
nuclear family house with the white picket fence. That's changing with technology and corporations buying up properties and things like that. But I don't think the American dream is dead. I think it's taking on a new form. I think still there is no better place to be.
I hate
no
that
better
she's
place for progress,
conservative,
and-
knows about corporations buying
Is
up
she the
properties,
producer for Daily Wire?
still doesn't have an issue with it. I have no idea.
Is that who
Like,
she is?
I have no idea.
This girl's famous for like a why I left the left shit, but she was never like left, and she's like a big like editor in chief for like Daily Wire or something.
I've no
Like
clue.
she's like a millionaire. If
But
it's
yeah,
who
like,
I'm thinking of.
she recognizes these issues with corporations owning housing and shit, right? But she doesn't stop to be like, that's probably not a good thing. She's just like, oh, there was corporations owning houses. Blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. Address the real problem.
And as you watch people in other countries, what are they influenced by? They're influenced by America. Where do they want to be? They want to be in America. So it speaks to me that the dream is very
Not
much still
necessarily.
alive. Opportunity is very much still alive. It just looks
The
different.
dream or the idea?
The dream.
The dream.
dream.
Yeah, I agree strongly with what you're saying here. You know, that dream of being able to buy a house, having the nuclear family, being happy, that's still my view of the American dream. It is harder to attain, that's for sure. It might be dead here in California.
It's not, I can assure you.
I want to believe that the American dream can be like real. The more I've experienced life, the more I feel it is a little more on the dead side. Like it's like this idea that we're taught when we're growing up is that you work the hardest, you're gonna get the most, right? Like, but
Do you
that's just
what's
not
her name?
true.
Do you know her
Like,
name?
That's not the world.
Like, because that's what I'm saying. Is like it's who I'm thinking of. She has a lot of this type of content. where it's like she's kind of like the Brett Cooper to Ben Shapiro, as she's like Candace Owens is. Like, I'm pretty sure she's affiliated with Daily Wire.
We live in.
It might be it's PragerU.
As I said,
She's
like,
she's PragerU. She produces for PragerU.
Okay.
She does all all the like flashy formatting they were doing, where it was like mimicking Johnny Harris. That's all her.
Yeah.
That's all her.
Okay. Did she used to work for Vox or something?
No, I don't think she was ever like that. I think it was just like she just did Why I Left the Left because it gets clicks.
Breaker in my family, but it's like it feels next to impossible sometimes.
It may feel out of reach, but I started my adult life with $35 in my pocket, and I was a runaway because my parents locked me up. I saw them achieve the American dream of having a home and having beautiful children. I wanted that, and I worked hard. And now in my work in real estate, I see people achieving the American dream all day long. Sometimes California is a little outside of our price range. We got to go to another state. But that potential, that idea that I am free to choose to get a home, choose to get land, choose to start a business, that is still here. And I wholeheartedly believe that the American dream still rests in our hands. We just have to be strong enough to take it.
I think for
all the conservatives are so in denial about this. They're like, no, it's still here. Trust me, please. I can't show you because it doesn't actually exist, but please trust me. Believe me. My
She was once a student organizer for the left.
That's it.
Yeah, she a leftist turned free thinker.
Okay.
Returning guest on Dr. Phil.
Great.
At Fox News.
Awesome. Great. All
From
right.
2021 to 2023, she was the in-house PragerU personality and hosted a show Unapologetic, where she provided commentary on news culture.
That's where I've seen it from. It was from that.
But I guess she left recently, and I think she may have went to Daily Wire, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, I am tired. I want to go. So I think we're done. There's like 2 minutes left, and it's just going to be saying the same shit.
Oh, that was just as miserable as the rest of their videos.
Yep. Great. All right. Perfect. Cool.
Bitches leave.